Hey guys, welcome in. 2 o'clock, couple hours left in a pretty exciting afternoon shaping up here. Back to the upside we go. We are dealing with a positive market right now as we head into, as I said, the final couple of hours here. It's been back and forth though, volatile to say the least. But if you zoom out a little bit, we're kind of stuck in a range overall. We need to either break the top or break the bottom here to continue. We'll talk about Meta and Snap coming up here. It looks like there has actually been 2 charges laid in that FBI announcement this afternoon. We'll talk about that coming up. But Meta and Snap still very volatile off of that news coming through this afternoon here. We'll also get into Tesla coming up here, still making a bit of a move back to the downside. Apple as well, back to the upside. There's so much to talk about this morning. If you joined us in the pre-market, make sure you're doing that every single day. Come join us at 8:30. We talked about the watch list, everything you need to know to get you set for the day. Here's how the market looks right now as we head into the last couple hours here. 0.7 for the S&P, 0.7 for the Dow. The NASDAQ still positive as well, but lagging. Down here, worth the note, 3.5% for Ethereum. So a nice day for crypto at this point. Here is basically all the negativity that's left right now. The casinos and Starbucks, really, on the China note this morning. Again, more talk about China getting away from the growth aspect. Tesla downside as well, 3.5% on that price cut, 9% coming off the Model 3 and the Model Y over in China. Industrials then, healthcare, tech, and financial stocks all back to the upside, helping to offset the weakness. So 0.85 right now for the overall market. Nice look heading into the afternoon. Hope your day is going well. Hope your afternoon is going well. Welcome in. Let's get going. Tons to talk about here this afternoon. We'll kick things off with a look at one of Sean's trades from this morning.
Hey traders, what's up? Look, very important here. Thank you for joining, by the way. Hit that QR link below to join Day Trade the World and start your prop firm experience today. Blah, 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 blah. All right, now, the thing is, I was trying to think of like 5 or 6 symbols that I had to give to Fahad right away. So I got thrown for a little bit of a loop there. Okay, but let's just go real quickly here. And what I meant to say early was Trader Pratt on the midday show said something about being prepared and being prepared early, right? And I mean, that's why we go right to the sticky note, and that's why it's up right now. The #1 name on here is Alibaba. Should be short all day. There is no way, and I was looking long. There's no way we were only going to go short. So we had to find a way. The IPO price is actually $68. So today when we come in, we are well below $68. And actually right here, 68 is all the way up there. We made a little line up there for you guys to show you where 68 is. So I was like, I wasn't going to go short all the way to 68. We probably would have got out here at the top of the day. We'll talk about that right now because it's your trade of the day and it's Alibaba. I just found this 63 level. We bounced off 63 a little bit right there and kind of hovered above it the whole morning. And I was like, what? Like, I get it. We were down at that time, probably 11% something. And I was like, you know what? Maybe Alibaba is a long because it's down so much, but nah, we stay with what we wanted to write down, and that is Alibaba's a short. So we actually, right away, we got short in the pre-market. Then we got short, we got a piece out there for, I think it was about $1. Our first short's around $64, $63.50. Get that short. And then all of a sudden, we get multiple opportunities here. And it's too bad because I have all these numbers here to get out. So it looks like we're building those purple flower, planting those purple flowers again. But here's the move all the way to the downside. The thing is, I was really surprised because it gave us numerous opportunities to reload off the open. That's when you got to sort of stick with what you're doing. I was very panicky because I did have an oversized position. When I was short there at 63, I was like, okay, we'll take a 63.50. All right, then we'll take above VWAP there at like 63.70. So I was like, oh my gosh, we may get, hit out of this. But look what winds up happening. Boom, all the way to the downside. This out right there, 60.50, because we're like, hey, are we going to bounce off of $60 or what, right? So as it starts to fall back down, here we go all the way to the downside. Now, unfortunately, we still have a piece on, a small piece, probably 10 to 15%. We don't get out at all. We let the market take us out, which happens to be that 50 period. Wish we had a little bit more on. Then we just made a mistake. We got in and out there at 60. We tried to go short again at 60. It broke above. And now you're seeing where it's trading actually right now, 61, 60. 65. So I think the important thing here is, we'll make this short and sweet if it's not already, is that you got to stay with stuff that you wanted to short in the beginning, right? So we have BABA up there, we have NEO. So we knew the Chinese ADRs were going to be a rough time because of some of the news that we've talked about here today. And then Meta also, 127, we really like that short, which started to pay off as well early on until we flipped to the long. But the idea here behind the trade of the day is, stay focused on certain ideas, understand why you like them, and try to stick with them as long as you can. We didn't do the greatest job on this, but still, short 63, 64. Some of these outs here, these are 61 outs, right? So that's the thing. It's a pretty good trade here for me today, and it's always nice to start your day off with the winner. And by the way, the trade of the days can be both winning and losing trades. It's just where we try to learn something, and for me, stick with your initial instinct.
A great move for Alibaba, and a great shirt for Sean today, by the way. That's the link to the watch list, guys. Alibaba was on that this morning, along with the rest of the Chinese ADRs on this note. Coming in this morning, we'll touch on this a little bit. I want to get right to Twitter, however, so let's turn that off. Twitter making a move. They're circulating this same Elon's deal is going to close on Friday rumor again. So Twitter just made a move back to 51.80 there on heavy volume. So that's going across Twitter right now. Ironically, 3.5% on the day for Twitter. Here's this note from the Justice Department today, or Department of Justice, I guess is the way you say it. 4 Chinese nationals end up getting charged in espionage investigation, I guess, the FBI making that announcement this afternoon at 1:30. So what do you need to know about this? Let me flip over to Snap here real quick. Initially, we saw that move to the upside. Snap and Meta made the same move to the upside because there was rumors that this was going to be bad for TikTok. So bad for TikTok, strong for Meta. And then they come out and they say it has nothing to do with TikTok. So back to essentially where it was. So nothing to see here, really, as far as Snap and Meta are concerned, guys. But a lot to get into this afternoon here.
Well, Snapchat was exciting regardless. Yeah, we'll do that for it. Before that news came out, except it was...
Can your daughter do that yet? Because as soon as my kids learned to do that, it was like...
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's like, don't snap at me, bro.
The day it happened...
she knows?
Well, no, it's like the first time she was able to snap. All of a sudden, it was like at the dinner table, it's like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Like that. So we know what's up. But look, the market at the open, we were talking about shorts. It was like short this, short that. If it was a Chinese ADR, you were pretty much just shorting it. But Snapchat found itself relatively strong. Now, horrible earnings, we understand that, we gapped down, but it more or less held a decent range on Friday at the bottom. Like 8 to 8.15, somewhere around here was like that wick top, and then it held like a 7.40 bottom. It came in, I simply said, okay, this is set up that if it tries to fill in the gap, I like the long. Now, was I short in front of 8? Yeah, I'm usually going to find a level like that and try to go short in front, but it was a clean reversal for me. And then, so... if there's a frustrating stock for me, I bought the dip on the way back in front of $8. Right after we finished the 11 o'clock show, I got to fill long. I'm like, I threw my stop in there, went to the bathroom, came back, and this was like already running higher. But you have to just sort of look in the rear view, like forget about it, move on to the next trade. That was watching that 850 high and fading the 850 high. 1 time, 2 times, it eventually broke, but then did this. Wick top through 850. I jumped back into it 850. And then, of course, sometimes you're just sitting in a short based off structure, and that second headline came through, and I've been in it ever since. It's bouncing off 790 now, but we broke VWAP. I want to hang on to this short. Look, I have maybe like 10% of it left, but if we do test and put a lower high, I actually want to be adding to this position. If the market doesn't break the highs, this is something which had a harsh rejection at 850 and just finished printing bad earnings there. So digging into this one a little bit, we'll talk about some of the other longs and short opportunities in there, because this market up 1% on the ES and testing some of those highs, so it could get spicy once again in the afternoon.
Could get some Pascal Siakam, some spicy pea going through tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Yeah, I didn't realize I had some red. That's why I turned these up. I thought the red was pretty cool there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
It's the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, it's
the funny things
right.
you do.
That's right. Shout out to our U.S. traders out there. Yeah, supporting. This is my American shirt. Yes.
Look at me, America.
Look at me, America. All right, so look at me, Meta. Right now, Meta we shorted early, man. We knew we wanted this short, and it was just a great call off 127. 127 broke as soon as the market opened up, man. And then it was ding, 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 with our best out being 125. That's $2. right there in the money. We slap a fail on Meta because there it is right down there at $2, right? It came up, we reloaded it at VWAP again at 126, then ding, 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 all the way to the downside. But then the fun really gets going because we covered and then we went long. We have a long here on Meta today at 124.60. So that was a huge long. We covered a lot of it on the way back up. It went right to VWAP right here and the 50 period, which coincides with where we shorted it again. So, you know, it could have just been a much bigger trade, of course. But I just, again, I'm going to play support and resistance. And it's like it came right up to there, so we got more out. It's still, that's $1.30, $1.40 in the money. But then this happened all the way to the upside, and we got out at 130.14 right there for Meta, as that's my best out right there. And we got it out right before we went off the air. So that's my best out right there. That's a 124.60 bottom. That's out at 130. So that's about $3.50. It does go as high as 133. Wow. Lots of headlines coming out today. I think Meta's, I mean, it's primed to get crushed because of what the Snapchat report was like, and they've already been hit on that. But again, a nice bottom there at 125. We'll see if it keeps happening, right? I mean, here's 125 a couple days ago on Meta, on Snap, and we bounced off that level again. So with earnings coming for Meta, you guys could guess what level would be pretty key. It looks to me like 125 off the bottom for what could have been, again, your trade of the day, because we were able to reverse it, right? That's the thing. When you get down to certain levels, it's not that I think Meta's a long. We had it listed as a short. It's just it bounced off those key levels. So something to always look out for. Do some homework, have some levels written down.
And let's get into a few other things here. I want to start with Apple this afternoon, back to day highs as we speak. Now 1.12 to the upside for Apple. We're breaking above and holding above nicely now. Friday's high, if you zoom out a little bit. But nice look here for Apple. They came out during the midday there and said they're going to raise the price for Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple One, which I've never heard of. But that had also Warner Music Group and Spotify making a big move to the upside.
Oh, yeah. So this is another one. So Spotify, the news came out there and on Apple, and I missed that as well. Apple, super strong, man. If we see 150 today, that would be fantastic. But B, if we're not breaking the high 38.10, it could provide some resistance up there because volume's really tapering off at these highs, just as another bit of a note. But there was that big news that came on Spotify. I couldn't believe how fast it was accelerating. I didn't want to chase the long. And then it made this double top at 96. And I think I got like this, made it the first high at 96 and pulled back $3. And I was like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure I want to fade this if it goes into the top again. I popped the daily up. I'm like, okay, you know, 95, 96, that was the most recent high. So if it gets up there again, that makes some sense to me for a short. And I was just sort of sitting at that previous high in the daily for the first entry. And I'm like, okay, I like that price. That's where it was in the daily. And it smoked that 95.5. I'm like, okay, well, let's settle down here. Allow it to test the top and then try to get more shares in the way down. So it broke the high at 96.5, got to 97, rejected that. Then we got, that's the better way to get into shorts on a strong stock. Really allow it to reject the level and then get in after. Don't get run over on the way up. Thankfully, I'd only taken one small fill in front. Allowed myself to get some more in the back. There were a few icebergs on the way at about 95.5 here. Once they plunged, I thought we were only going to 93. We're at VWAP now. But this is like Snapchat. I mean, I guess I'm short Snapchat. But like Snapchat, these are relatively strong names. If you look at it, now holding the breakout at 91, you go back to the daily, it is still in the midst of a little bit of a jailbreak from some of the lows, made a wick bottom at 80. Now you're trying to break out of this consolidation. So it's a pretty bullish looking higher time frame chart, and you look at it on the 15-minute, above 92 looks pretty good as well. So you get a bit of a consolidation here, and I can see why you like the Spotify, maybe long off 91, 92 if it can hold. The volume's tapered off. I just always feel I'm never chasing a move like that, not when it goes right into such big overhead resistance on a daily chart. I usually look for that short as a day trader. But this is, hold above 91, 92. This is a place to be looking for some long opportunities in spot. And note the difference, right? Like Spotify goes all the way to the top and rejects it. Apple, which, this is where the actual news matters, I think. Apple's strength up that 1% and headed right to this. Looks like we're going to get this 150 today. Apple actually just taking out the top one more time here, leading the market going into earnings. Well, it's breaking 149.
Yeah, okay,
When I say it looks like we're going to get the 150, that's memories of Friday. where I thought everything looked like a pretty good short up at the highs of the day, and then we just kept going higher. Although, this time, Netflix isn't as strong as it was on Friday, so that short's pretty good.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I think that, this Apple, it was the only long that we had written on here on the sticky note. We talked about 148. If it takes 148, we should run into 150. So that's why I was like, what? We're actually up to 150, but we're getting close. There's 148. I mean, that long would have been fine. If you took it early, that would have been a problem because it went up to 148.30, then cranked back lower. We did test Apple right into here at 147, going long, and then letting it break on us all the way to the downside, not doing anything about it. And now you rate right back up to 149 and change. I really like Apple here. I think as long as the ES, which is down here, is above 3,800 and the NASDAQ is well above that 11,100 or 11,200 level, which we made earlier, I really think that Apple right there is pretty safe. So let's watch out for this name. We know that they like it, and one that will always get bought up. Whether or not they're raising their prices or whatever on their Apple One subscription, Apple Watch, whatever they're doing, it doesn't matter. People will pay up for it, right? So that's why Spotify, all that kind of stuff. Look, you want streaming music. There's only a few options, right? I mean, obviously, there we have Tencent Music in China. So Apple coming through, Spotify, I think YouTube probably has a streaming music service as well. But Apple just continues to show pricing power, man. I think that they can raise whatever they want. If they keep the prices of the device where they are, they can charge more for things like Apple Plus, Apple Music, and put it all into one. So I really like their pricing power here and think that Apple is definitely a buy. But again, I wouldn't say that I'm buying anything into earnings, right? I mean, we still have a big earnings week coming ahead of us, so let's watch out for Apple, but it wouldn't be surprising if you see 153 or 54 tomorrow.
All right, here's the notes from this morning on the Chinese ADRs. They were all down significantly, continue to be in the pre-market. Here's why. It's looking more and more like, first of all, we got GDP out over in China overnight that was only in line with expectation. But it's looking like more and more the Chinese government is going to get away from not only supporting growth in that company as far as some companies are concerned and financing or adding liquidity to some growth companies in that country, but also make continued moves and efforts, guys, towards that end. So all of these Chinese stocks, I was just looking at NVAX as well, there's a headline there, but all of the Chinese stocks downside in a big way today.
Exactly. Look, we're going to talk about these in a quick second, but Havana Woody, I know I'm short in Mullen. I was long all day. I like the long above 50. Maybe it has a chance to reverse. I'm not necessarily done with the long, but it broke VWAP, so I'm short the thing. I mean, it's generally how I trade penny stocks. And we'll talk about Mullen because, quite frankly, there was a point this morning where Mullen was it if you like long stocks, stocks that were going to the upside. But I like Pinduoduo mostly because, well, I liked XPeng as well, but I like Pinduoduo because it had so much more room than these others to fall because it had been so strong. And that's where I've been looking for a lot of long opportunities in the Chinese names. But this was gapping. You're gapping through such significant levels. It had a 53 support. You gapped to the downside, and you were already breaking below 50 even. So once it was below 50, I said, okay, well, I like anything short that's 53. The first short was just going to be whether it could hold that pre-market high. It was a clean break of the lows. I got out too early at 45. I shorted it again at 42 into 41s. And suddenly it put in, this is a huge capitulation bottom. I think anybody can accept what you saw on NEO and XPeng and the Chinese EV names, the Chinese internet names, same thing. Once it put in that lower high, it was a huge jailbreak at 43 into 45, was able to grab that breakout long, and now it's doing nothing. We've seen this before. I don't want to say that these might be done, but we've seen this story before. We have crazy volatility in some of the Chinese ADRs, and then they tend to go sideways in the afternoon. I really hope not, because if we get back below 43, I think Pinduoduo could absolutely flush. And similarly, the other one that I was trading this morning was XPeng. It was a clean break at 7. It was then a clean break at 650. Although the 7 went to 650, the 650 only went to the quarters. I then tried it on the way back up a couple times. And again, this is sitting here right back at that 7 level. So I would love to see a breakdown. Breakdown from here, get to VWAP, or it's kind of diddling in the middle if you take the breakout. But unfortunately, kind of like these others, it's only going sideways now. So the story was in the morning. You just picked your poison. I think all you had to do was, any of them would have worked. Just pick the one that you like the best, get the right setup, and then just get into the trade. I think trying to trade all 4 or 5 of them would have been tricky. I wanted exposure to one internet name and one of the EV names, just in case like if the EVs were relatively strong or relatively weaker, I would have exposure on either end of that spectrum. And just looking at PDD, I figured it had been up so much relative to the group that had some more room to fall.
Yeah, I was looking at PDD myself. Okay, so we already talked about Alibaba today. I mean, I think that was a pretty good trade to the downside. We didn't capture it all, but it's my #1 name today. Actually, no, Meta is my #1 name today, but Alibaba is another one. I'll take the other side of this. Although it says China crash, yes, there's a huge crash happening in NEO today, but we actually picked the bottom, and we picked the bottom pretty good, man. That was a good idea to pick that bottom there because 890. Yeah, I'm unhinged.
What's going on here?
Also, yeah, no, this stock, Dada is a Chinese stock.
That's right.
So yeah, just trying to have a little bit of fun here on a Friday. Oh God. Okay, so yeah, we went long there, breaking. Actually. We did not get the 9 break long, to be honest with you, but we did get an 880 long there on NIO. And I just felt like, in the early going there, the moves were just so exhausted to the downside. You saw me miss the very bottom in NEO, but we get it back there, 880. Now we're still long this name. We're only 45 cents or whatever it is in the money. It's not a bad position, but it's also not like a great one here. It's not, I mean, the position's fine. It's just, I don't really see much happening. That high right now of 9,935. Good look there. I only went to NEO. I mean, XPeng, Li Auto, all these names are exactly the same. They're all dumpster fires. Look at the 1-day chart here for NEO, just straight to the downside. This is September 15th. We were a $22 name. And then today you're down to $9, right? So that's Li Auto, well, $9 now, but $8 earlier. And then you also have this name going to the side as well, XPeng, $7. Check out the daily chart on this one. Let's go. Once it loads, you're going to see look at this, absolute destruction as well in this name. So whether or not, I mean, as a percentage-wise, probably XPeng and Li Auto down from the highs more than NIO. I just normally trade NIO, but still, 50 million shares today in this name, and then in NEO, 150 million shares. So, it just depends on what you want to look at, but they're all pretty much the same. China worries continue here today, and wait to see tomorrow, man. We'll have to see what happens tomorrow. Let the Chinese market open up and then see what some of these ADRs are all about. But like, if I'm a manager of money, why would I ever put client exposed to Chinese risk right now? They've changed. They talked about their ideologies changing. You've seen Wynn Casino today get absolutely crashed as well. Well, cranked, I guess, crashed down earlier, down 5% now, a little bit better off those bottoms here. But like, why do you want to be invested in a name that has exposure to China when the government at any time could pull licenses or anything like that, right? So that's the risk with Alibaba. I feel like that's the risk with NIO. Remember, NEO is also state-sponsored, so they have taken capital and resources from the Chinese government, so they're at their beck and call. I would just be very, very careful putting new money to work now. I think it's too late to sell them, for me personally, because I still do own some of these names. And yeah, if you're still in them, man, I think you either got to wait or sell on any pop. But for today, I think that's what most people were doing. They got out real early, and now they're kind of just grinding a little bit higher.
All right, let's cover Twitter here quickly. A lot of people were saying, what happened to Twitter? What happened to Twitter? Big move up to 51.80 once again on this continued speculation that it's the end of the week, and it's looking like more and more that this deal might get closed, including from CNN. It might get closed by Friday, guys. So Twitter back to the upside as that got circulated once again.
I think one of the things I'm going to do this week with Twitter is maybe just utilize some stop orders a little bit better. Because if it is going to close at 54.20 at the end of the week, then you're going to get little moves like this where it'll sit there, it'll just break out the high, and there'll be a little bit of squeeze up, and then when it consolidates, there'll be these nice little stop breakouts, whether it's news or not. And if you get triggered into position, have a stop on the back end, because if there's anything negative comes here, you're probably there's downside risk. Like one headline of a delay, or it couldn't go through, and this thing's back in the 40s. So I'm right now bidding in front of VWAP because I want to just catch something in front of 51, but I already have a stop in case it breaks 51. So I'm bidding 51, 20, 22 or something like that, 21 and 22. And then I have a 51 stop. And then tomorrow morning, if we're still in this range, I'll probably just try to take opening range breakouts, because anything that affirms this deal even further is just going to continue to make moves like this, and I want to be able to take advantage of them.
Let's see what you did there.
What did I do there?
You had to drop a firm in there.
Oh, I haven't looked at that stock.
I know, that stock's probably a dumpster fire.
But, you know the problem with it, the reason why I don't look at a firm every single day, now I'm getting off topic, is because we started making these bounces in the market. Like when you start making these kind of like bear market lows, that's usually where if my gut is to be shorting a firm, to kind of stay away from it until the market looks weak again, and then when the market looks weak again, then go back over to a firm. So I've been staying away from that stock, but I'll be on the bid in front of VWAP here on Twitter. If I get a feel great, my stop is at 51. Tomorrow I'll probably look to play more longs into that 54.20 if it eventually does get there. Final week of deal closing, there's still enough of a spread that there can be. It's worth it to be looking at this stock. I mean, if it's going to close this week, it has to get there. Usually it does, anyways. Very rarely do you see a stock end up closing that far from the deal price. If it does go firm. I've seen it once or twice, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah, so I just talking about a firm here. I was only looking at this right here because for absolutely no reason other than the fact that, yeah, you are near some of these bottoms, 1660, 1670 here for AFRM. Has nothing to do with Twitter or Tesla or anything. I don't think you can buy a Tesla with buy now, pay never. But you know, a firm down here, 1660, looking like a decent little look there. But Brenda, let's go on to the next one. I stay away from Twitter. I feel like Neil said, if you're going to use stop orders or bracket orders and you have certain prices in mind there, then go for it. But I just feel like it requires too much like back and forth nonsense. Like ever since I saw it halt, was it 2 weeks ago when he was like, okay, I'll do it. You know, I feel like it's just a little bit too risky there, but hey, it's been a good trade, good volume. So congratulations to those of you that believed in that deal, because you could have picked it up in the low 40s or so. And now it looks like you're going to get 54.20.
All right. I feel like that's exactly how that conversation went too, probably with Elon. Let's talk Tesla. Breaking higher, actually. We're back to basically session highs. This is all pre-market. So session highs for Tesla back to under 3%. On the day, 9% coming off both the Model 3 and the Model Y prices over in China, guys. But what a reversal. I mean, if you go to a higher time frame, 200 is going to look like it held nicely.
We just got stopped at, hold on a second, just quickly here. Those of you guys watching me on Amazon here, and we'll do Tesla for sure. Just the market right now is are we at day's high? Yeah, we're close enough.
Pretty
okay.
much.
I was wondering, like, why did we get stopped out? I wasn't even looking at this. I only had 20% left. Each one of these is 10% out. But there's Amazon taking out 19. Those of you guys that were watching, shout out to Bears vs. Bulls and everybody on the midday show, because I was posting my trades. This was a good one all the way to the downside. And then we kind of just left it for dead there. And I thought it was going a lot lower. And then all of a sudden right now, I was like, what? We just got taken out. We should have put our out right down here. So that's a little sloppy by me. Kind of forgot about that trade, but now out of Amazon. So, all right, we'll look to reload that. Look, Tesla is a red name for me today. So that kind of sucks. What happened now?
The market's going up.
I know, the market's ripping.
NVIDIA just filled me on the way back in. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Neo's going to the upside. All right, all we wanted to do was basically be patient with Tesla. I was going to write down 206. I think we talked about it, in the pre-market, because we were up here 207, that bottom of 206. Could have been shorted. Probably should have been. It danced around basically that level 206, which is right here, right? So let me put a little marker here for you guys. There's 206 right there. So, there's the short. It danced around a little bit, high, and then it just cranked lower. We were pretty, not lucky. I mean, you got to take the fill. You got to be there to make the trade. But we got a 200 break. That didn't work for us at all, to be honest with you. That first break was pretty bad. But let me just zoom in a little bit here for you, if we can, just to see the action. So there's the break of 200. There's the fill down here, 199. But it had to go up first, right? I said that once we broke 200, I could feel like there was going to be a push back up to the upside, because it was so fast to the downside there that it was almost too quick. Like 1 minute it was 203, the next minute it was 200. So I just felt like it wasn't doing that. Like if 200 was in here and it came, but then we started dance. So then there's the fill back down to the downside. And then we reloaded it up at $200.50. That's really what created the winner, because then when it came back down, we started taking $1, so on and so forth, until eventually we got hit on the other side of this, right? So yeah, good trading done for Tesla until we went short the second time at 201, then again at this 202, and then out at 202 as Tesla now flying to the high side a little bit, looking to break that 210. But this is a good level again, man. 211, 210 for Tesla. Maybe another short opportunity coming through.
Yeah, I'll end up right on Tesla, and then I came in with that level, sort of looking for like this is going to be a big one or it's not, and I still stick by that. Like that 200 broke. I did get a bit of a late fill on the way back in. Like I didn't actually catch the break at 200, so I got it on the way back to the upside, if that makes sense. Well, a little bit late, at least when I saw the fill. It was pretty clean, looking like 198, and at the point that I got that fill, I was then looking at 193 and 196. At that point, that's what I wanted to the downside. It didn't happen. I wanted one chance again to take a consolidation and give it back to VWAP. It ended up doing so. I didn't end up reversing. Got a few other places that we went to the long side, which I'll get to in a quick second. But it ended up red because I could have taken it all out. Could just said, yeah, you know what, great $2 win, fantastic. I was even in a 202 that was in the money about $1.30 or so, but I was waiting for that break to get back down into those lows. Like I just thought we're looking home run there on Tesla when we took that level out, and strong recovery. 215 I think is still resistance, so there's a room for it to run. If we're holding this 200 for good, at least short term, that 215 is a bit of a big level. One name that I just got into, I was just sort of saying in the chat, I actually liked NVIDIA 126s. When I looked over, the market was kind of breaking back to the upside, and NVIDIA was coming back and filling it at 126. And I was like, what the heck? That didn't really make a lot of sense to me. So you had the pre-market highs here at 126. It got there on Thursday, it would have been, to like 127, 127.5. So there's room to go to those levels. So I missed the breakout when we took it out. I'm like, okay, I'll bid back in here. And now with the market going up, NVIDIA decides to backfill that long, which is a little bit interesting. So I'll give it a tight stop, because if this is going to be coming back in as the market goes up, that's not necessarily the way I want to be grabbing along. But up 1%, a little bit better than the overall market, so I do like this chip name. And we'll get into some of the big tech earnings because they're coming this week, and they will determine how this market is going to behave off these lows. All's well so far this week, but we have a lot coming in terms of earnings that are going to determine how things go.
Yeah, pretty good day overall for some of them. We touched on Apple already leading the way. We'll get Microsoft and Google leading the way tomorrow after the close. I just noticed Google here, guys, 0.75 versus the rest up more than a full % on the day.
So Sean was just asking when Mobileye was, like the IPO.
Yeah.
Like I didn't see a firm date when I saw this morning. I just saw the price. They priced looking at 18 to 20, and there was some more details on like how many their voting rights, yada yada yada. But there wasn't a firm date on it. And typically these big IPOs tend to come out on Wednesdays or Thursdays. So I'd say look out for it on Wednesday. It could be this week. That's Intel, of course. And look, Intel's actually on the move today. They're relatively strong with some of the other chip names as well. Whenever that day does happen, just watch to see how that trades. Intel does remain with their voting rights and a stake in the company. It's a huge haircut from its previous valuations. I was initially looking for, will Intel break out that 27 level? It failed to break early, so this is what it looks like on the 15-minute. Failed that break early, grabbed it, in and out for a win, and then taking out the stop. And then once it was a failed break with a wick high, the second run at that high of the day, I just jumped right back into the short at 27, shorted it to 26.50. I tried shorting on the way back in, and then went right into that same breakout trade after. And now I'm getting off the stock. NVIDIA just looks a little more interesting to me. But in big tech, the one I'm in right now is actually Netflix. Like Netflix is down 1.8% into a strong market, and this was the strongest stock last week. So it's relative strength abound. You're beneath that 290. I missed the 290 breakdown. I'm kicking myself over it because I wanted this failing that level if the market would come down. And you're still making a lower high off 286. And that's what I'm working off of right now. As it bounces higher, if we don't take out 286, I want to be short this all afternoon. This has a huge run to come back in and backfill. And if the market doesn't break out It was a leader last week. You're down almost 2% when the market is strong. That tells me at least this time I'm short it with a better reason than on Friday when it's like, yeah, but it's at the top. It's at 290. Let's just short it because it's at resistance. No, this time it's relatively weak to the market, so it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, I like, you guys know I like big cap tech, so it's going to be a great, I think that it's going to be a great week. And I just think that you got to make sure that you're watching out for key levels. And that brings me to a name that I know Neil talked about NVIDIA a little bit. I'm just going to talk quickly about AMD because this is another one of those names that I really love this level down here at 56 bucks, man. I mean, it's been filling over and over and over again and definitely gave us some of this to put in our account because, you know, it's just kind of respecting some of the levels, right, that AMD has. So we're going to watch it out for right here, down to 56.50, right? So look at this on a 20-minute chart. Here's 56.50. I can zoom out a little bit more. This is that bottom right here, 56. So, you know, you do have some nice little bottom levels here. We've hit this a couple times over the last few days. So this is something that I'm going to be looking forward to on AMD. And I automatically go there, like even when the market is at its darkest, you know, you go down here and I say, okay, where is AMD? Well, look where it went to, man, 50. Like I basically let it give me the trade. We didn't take it the first time. We let it show us that, hey, we'll support that 56.50 level. So I was like, all right, so we take that level, we take it to the long side, and then here's it like, look at this trade, man. This is another $2 in the money. Fortunately, I don't have it. My best out, though, is right here at the 200 period when we ripped up. That's 58.20. So we go long there at 58.680, out 58.20. Best, again, these are like quarters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually 2 in there. So about 20, 25% held. We brought it right back into where we saw some resistance right there at 57.50, but still, that's $1. So it's a nice move to the upside. I like AMD, and I like it protecting some of those levels. And then one more name that we've already talked about that we got stopped out at 19 off of this short is Amazon. Amazon's another one of those names that's at a super key level of 120. I just feel like, you know, we've already been up here. Realistically, it's 120, like between 120 and 122-ish. Something like that is where we're looking to short. But again, another good name coming through Amazon with earnings. We're going to be very, very excited to watch out for that 120 level. So, you know, kind of like what Arun was saying, and that is like, and I'm just going to put this over to stocks. He doesn't, and I'm just paraphrasing, but it's like he doesn't care that much about like the economic releases. It's just like if he wants to short 3,800 and it gets to 3,800, then it doesn't really matter why it gets there, you know? Now in stocks is going to be a little different than futures, but you know, that's sort of the point. As long as levels are there that I like, I'm going to continue to take them. So we had that Google 100, you saw that one. We have Amazon 120, we took that today. And then that AMD is just another key level, similar to probably that NVIDIA 125 or something like that. You have to respect key levels. Apple 150. Yeah, I mean, that's coming up too.
Which hopefully we get there today because we like that. Like, it'd be an interesting level if Apple gets there. It didn't make the rundown, but we'll talk about a little bit about Mullen here. Yes, I was long Mullen for the most of the day, like several times off of that 50 level. And it might still be going, right? But it got to 50, then it got 50 to 54, and then the reloads got to like 52s and 53s. You then broke support just beneath 49. When that happened, I usually like going into the short, usually trying to play it back into 54. There's a chance it can just maybe get back above VWAP and 50, and then I go right back to liking the trade earlier. There was that news, and oh shoot, I already forget the name of the van. But anyways, there was news they got a van over there in Europe and some orders. But that was the catalyst for today. But the real story on the stock is that it's been on a run since last week, consolidating at 20 cents, and it was running going into this news. So like the reason why I wouldn't write off the notion and look, maybe it's about to go, as a matter of fact, there it is. I just actually got stopped out in that consolidation. I was going to say, one of the reasons why I like the short idea was when I see moves like this on a penny stock, if it fails a breakout, I tend to think it could be coming right back into the previous break for support at 40 cents. So in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, you could be coming back all the way here or even to 30 just to go sideways for a couple of days before you see another leg to the upside. Like that's what your daily looks like. It's also rejecting the 50 period for what it's worth. So I'm usually expecting a dip and then a consolidation. To jump back into the long, I'd probably need to see it hold above that 50-cent mark. But if you've been holding long and strong in this stock, I mean, I guess it's not giving you a ton of reason to get out. But as a day trader, I just like the opportunity for that 48 short in front of 49 to try and go down to 44, right? So risk ascent, see if it can't work down that next 5 pennies to the downside. I just like that trade. We'll see. Obviously, it was wrong to go into the short, so if you're long and strong, congrats. I am in that NVIDIA. I think we can get back to the high of the day. I want these futures to break the top. It would be really nice if we actually had one of those days where we didn't just hang out at the top end of the range as the NASDAQ, but we actually broke the top end of the range and then screamed higher. That's what we'd like to see. Last I checked, we have it on that bull. And I'm pretty sure the midday poll.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had a poll up.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot to check where the poll ended. I know last I looked at it.
Well, I mean, we could do it again. It's 3,800 was the poll. I mean, we're at 38.
Do we close above 3,800? We're at 3,805. So, I mean, everyone seems to think the market can be going to the upside. I like NVIDIA here off that pre-market high break, 126. Or even look at Tesla breaking 208 there. And let's not forget all about Apple. Apple it's just slowly gliding to 150. So it looks like it's just slowly churning. That's going to be a monster level. If we can't break that and the market isn't breaking the highs, you could see a little bit of a dip off that level.
Yeah, I was, we'll hit this for a new position alert. That's why I put on the sticky note. If we take that 148, I really thought that we could get to 150 for Apple. So it looks like we'll try to do that again. All right, the new position alert is for Amazon. We almost got shorter there. I was waiting at 35. It went to 32 or 33 there. But here we go, shorting Amazon. It just came up to that level, so we'll take that short one more time. 119.50. This time, honestly, I'm not going to give this to 120. The market today, how many times in this after show here, I keep calling it the after show because it's like our last one, but in the power hour, have we seen the market kind of just continue trend? Like, if you ignore what's been happening in the last hour, it's been crazy. I mean, I'll get a chart up of it once I zoom in a little bit better because that's a continuous chart for the futures. But we've seen the market absolutely rip, like just continue to go up like it did on Friday. It was up 2%, then it's 2.5%, then it's 3%. I mean, that didn't happen on Friday, but you guys know what I'm getting at there. So just long story short, I really feel like there's risk here in going short into a big market today, a nice reversal where we're near the top. So I'm only going to give this to 119.50. I mean, now that I see this, I could give it to 119.60 and not worry about, I'm not going to worry about 80. All right, let's, there we go. Now we're short. So let's flip the switch on this. I'm just going to cancel this, put my stop upside there at 119.61. And you guys can at me and say, oh, my stop is too short. Maybe it is, but I'm going to wait for that price to come through. One more quick average in because I don't quite have a full position yet because I was going to see what's happening at 50. But let's just put another spot there in the mid 40s and see if we can get that. But right now, this is what we're doing, baby. We are now short on Amazon against this high. If it breaks 119.60, we're going to get out of that. But like I said, look at the market. I don't want to. And look, I mean, I have 21 or something like that years experience. I tell my kids, don't ask me how old I am. I don't even know. But that 119.80 right there is something that I'd rather let it get up there and then short again rather than average in, and then get out eventually when it breaks through 120. So I'm going to watch out for this Amazon trade. We've been to 120 today. We started higher than that, right? So we were at 121 earlier in the pre-market. So it does have the pedigree to get up there again. So that's what we're going to watch out for. And there it is right there. There's the last of the fill right here. It sucks because whatever your shares are, I'm basically, now it's going to go. See, look, what was I saying about this market, man? I'm just glad that Apple's going to come to fruition because it is going to take out that level, hopefully of 150. So watch out for that one right now for Apple coming up to 150. We talked about it breaking 148 next stop, right? So watch out, Apple trying to go upside right now. And it looks like, unfortunately, we're going to get stopped out of our Amazon if it takes that 119.60.
Hey, whoever keeps putting Caterpillar in the chat, good on you, because this just took out, just tested the high. I shouldn't say it took out the high of the day because it looks like it basically broke it by 5 cents and it came right back. But 192 on Cat, just taking out to the upside. There is overhead resistance here at about 195, but there's still room in there. NVIDIA's starting to go. I got a reload on Netflix and then it broke. It broke VWAP right after I got the reload, so going to be out of that one. It's just NVIDIA and Snapchat, and I still feel like we'll see what happens when we get there, but I always tell myself, like, wait to see what happens if you get to the top on Snap. But this really does feel like I should be reloading the short almost where it stands at 825 because the market's screaming through highs. You've gotten through VWAP, but you're actually checking up where we had some support earlier on in the day. Like, this does feel at least a little bit relatively weak on Snapchat, so we want to look out for that. But the market is absolutely cranking to that upside. Tesla's almost at 210, but that Caterpillar's now caught my attention for 192. When you pop the 15-minute up, yeah, super strong on Friday, but a lot of things were. Now you're looking to break a bit of a consolidation through that high. I just wish the volume was a little better. I mean, the volume is the one thing missing from that Caterpillar break.
Yeah, so we did get scared a little bit here and got some out in the mid 40s of Amazon. You guys, we were short 119.34, I think it was. Now it's going to show 35, I think. Yeah, so we didn't get out of many, man. We got out of about 25%. So we did get out of a decent amount, I guess, down here for about a 10, 15 cent hit on Amazon. Now let's see if it can come back into the downside. I really just got out because, again, this future is ripping to the upside. I really feel like we want to test that 11,500. So here's the NASDAQ futures coming into play again here. So right there, 11,500. Look, we've touched it before, dropped back in, right? So let's wait to see. That's sort of where, this is that move I talked about on Friday, straight up to the upside. So we got to watch out for that happening again. Watch out for 11,500 coming through on the NASDAQ. I feel like, that's, if not here now, going to be here pretty soon on that trade. So that's what I'm kind of waiting out for, hoping that we can find a short if we get up there. But again, I don't want to be like in any shorts as that's breaking because, it could be a violent break one way or the other. So that's something that I'm looking for there on that name. But as we go, man, let's just keep on looking for some more trades. Mullen day is the 26th, okay? Meta, we can look at Meta as well. That's from the chat. I just don't even know what Mullen day is. But right there, we'll see what happens here. Meta, yeah, I mean, I don't have too much comment on Meta. Meta's my #1 stock today. We hit that at the bottom, hit it all the way up here to 130. So that was a very good trade. That was $6 there on Meta. And yeah, I mean, it's just really, really in the middle here. I mean, if we get to 128, 128.50, then I could maybe talk about it. But until then, I don't really want to do much with Meta. So that's going to be a hard pass. AMD, ooh, this one's maybe at a nice little level here of 59. I could get down with this, man. We'll see. Oh, AMD about to go positive too today after getting destroyed early. Man, we had that long. Too bad we don't anymore. But nice little positioning there for AMD. Ooh, I'd rather have the long back at 58.50 now that I see that. So right into here, I'd rather have it bouncing off. That's 58.40. We could start the log now at 58.70. I don't know. I'm not super convinced. I'm short right now against that 11,500 for Amazon. And I don't mind this here for AMD. So I don't mind that short, but I feel like if I'm going to short anything, it would be Amazon back in again. So let's wait for 58. I mean, if AMD can get back down to 58, then it'll make me a little happier to make a play on that one.
Yeah, I mean, as we get to fresh highs, I'm watching NVIDIA go back and forth. It goes in the money 20 cents. Well, actually it was in the money 30 cents or so, and then pulls back in there and looks like it's fading despite the market holding up. And then I go over to AMAT, which that had been super strong all day long. I'm like, okay, that's up 3%. It's been leading the group, and that's rejecting 85. So some of the semi names that have been relatively strong are actually pulling back a little bit. So I don't want to be necessarily adding to any of these. If anything, I want to look for what is actually holding this market up. I mean, Tesla clearly is jailbreaking to that upside. The Chinese names are a bit disappointing. I'm not really there yet I'm close to wanting that back into that Mullen long. It's trying to hold VWAP. It's done it a couple of times here. I might get into a little something, but the volume it's pretty slight at this point. So I feel like it's a little bit weak in terms of the volume side of the move, but I'm pretty close to getting on that 50 bid again. And Apple, I said it was inevitable we get to that Apple 150. Like, it just keeps on churning and churning. Like, I mean, you could just have glided into this long. I know, there you go. That looks a little bit better when I get rid of those wicks, but I know it looks like, it doesn't look like much. But this market is slowly climbing, and Apple, only a few red candles on a 3-minute since it got 148. This is about as clean a move as it gets. I got one long I like in the chips. I hate buying tops. I'm very likely to have a 97 or 98 short on Apple, but that's just because I like that style of a trade if there's a big size on the offer. And someone just said, Super SPAC Man, you said RCL. I am on the offer of CCL. I forgot to mention this. I'm offering these tops on CCL because I sat there all morning long with a stop order for an 8:30 break, and then you saw it reject that level. So I will take a shot short in front, but I'm going long if CCL breaks that 8:30, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, it doesn't really matter, but it was previous resistance. It's made a bottom. It's now trying to break this channel. I want that long when it happens. There's like $1 straight to the 50 period if it does make the breakout. But like all things, it's resistance till it's not. So I am on the offer in front of this, so I don't mind looking at RCL. Maybe, you never know. Maybe it sets up better than CCL, and I flip this one and like it even, if it even loads up. And maybe I'll like it even more than I do that CCL trade. Why is this not loading this chart? It's right underneath 50, so it gets the same way you'd be treating the 50 level. That daily hates me. And the same way you'd be treating that 50 level, that's what I'm looking at for 8:30 on CCL. Yeah, that sets up just as well. If I get this first, I might just take, this is right here, right now, whereas I'm waiting a few cents on CCL. But that 50 break, that lines up pretty fantastically. It's basically the same trade, really. You're making a big bottom. You're trying to break out. Now on the daily, it's a bit of a tighter consolidation on CCL. That's why I prefer it. But 50 is a nice level, and there's room on the daily to get to 52.
All right, we're, I don't know, man. I mean, the market just went to the downside, so we'll take out some nether piece. We actually got 33s there. Okay, here comes the back in right now. 33s on Amazon. So let's take advantage of this because now it's starting to print a little bit to the downside. Nice little downside candle here. So again, we picked our poison here with Amazon. This was the short that we like. So now, I mean, we have a position. Wasn't super confident in it. I mean, even look now, it's not really dropping. I mean, that's why when it does drop, we got to take a little bit of an advantage on it. I still think that we can get to 19 here. So, if that comes into play, that'll be really cool for us to grab that. But again, still needs to come through here. 119 and change coming through here, hopefully, on Amazon. So watch out for that play coming in. And you guys can see there, we are bidding and offering, right? So we're trying to play around with this price. And make sure we get the fills and then sit there, because when it came in right there to 30, we were able to sit there and take some. So hopefully that will come back in. And my new bid right now is 27, right at that low, which was 29 there. We'll wait a little bit lower on that and see if we can grab that fill there for AMZN. So that's that play. Just looking at NEO, not overly concerned again with NIO where we are now for this stock. It's just really barcoding, so we're going to take a pass on that one. Yeah, people still like that Caterpillar. Neil just talked about that, so thanks for putting that in the chat. A name that maybe we can look at. What about Starbucks today? That was SBUXNQ. What was I just on? I thought it was on Amazon, but I was not. So let's have a quick look at this one now. As Starbucks, again, hit on that China worry there. China's not going to do anything to Starbucks, I wouldn't think. But again, a slowing GDP, so on and so forth. Not a great sign for China. But, again, I feel like if you get an opportunity to buy some of these $82, $83 levels, Starbucks has really been sort of revamping itself. Big move down today. Where's that daily chart that I want to look at here? It's been a strong one. It's still above its, I was going to say, is it still above its 50 period? It is not. But still, a nice little long there for Starbucks into today. And then there's the dip down. Look where we supported, 82.50. So sometimes you don't have to go too far. This reminds me of that AMD trade that was right here. So watch out for that coming through. I still like that trade right now, but it's going to be a little bit of a slippery one next time it comes down here. But 82.50, looking for a long on Starbucks. Might not be right now. I'm just more concerned with Amazon because that's the short that we have on right here. I'm looking to get filled up near 27. We just went low to 31 again, looking for a 27 long.
Yeah, good look there. And I realized, of course, as you said, Caterpillar, that it did break 192, and I'm like, oh, I didn't get filled. Oh, I didn't have a stop order. I sat there talking about 192 and then didn't take the fill. It went to 192.20 and then comes right back into 191.90. So I'm actually able to get in anyways at like 93. I'll give it to this little consolidation in here. So did grab that long, and thank you for pointing out RCL because, I'm not filled in CCL, but that 50 level just as good. If we pull back from here, it's a relatively tight stop. I'm risking 15 cents plus slippage. That's if it breaks 50, however many pennies past that level my stop order fills. And if it comes just the first support right there, like that's a 20 penny move. So it's better than 1-to-1, even if it just comes down into the 49.60. So I'm going to get a bid out there. Always want to have something on board it's not on board, but on the bid in case it does do one of those flushes and then bounces right back up to the top. So in that RCL, CCL, I mean, very much the same kind of idea, only it's not really at that high. It's an $8 stock, so you know, in front of 830, I wouldn't short 820. Like, I'd actually short 25 to 30, that last 5 cents or so. So we got that one. I did jump into Mullen. I said if it held 50 cents, I'd get into it. And no, don't sleep on Tesla here, because it just got to, and I have to zoom in because the range I had, it just got to 209.80. So trying to crank 210 and bit of a rejection. So if it could give a nice consolidation and then set up for a 210 breakout trade, which I did not think I'd be saying that the same day that 200 broke, but here we are anyways. Tesla's down 2%, but it's a strong-looking chart after that break of 200 earlier on in the session. NVIDIA looks like it's slowing down. Those chip names really ran out of steam here, and don't discount Apple 150. That still has a very good chance to get up there. I'm probably likely to fade it at least one time before that break.
Oh man, yeah, I was just gonna actually talk about Tesla, but you did that, so we'll pass. But yeah, that 210, 212 area, maybe for something there. I'm down on Tesla today. It's gonna be the red stock for me for the day. But let's just look. That's Tesla, that is, not NIO. NIO's been a good one for me as we still hold on to that long. And then we wait for Amazon to come crashing down, hopefully. It's a quick little look. So the tech names that I think wind up with good quarters are going to be Microsoft and Apple for sure. And then I think Google's also going to have a good one. Meta. Well, I mean, Google could have some ad problems, but I think that they're going to have more tailwinds in other segments, such as their cloud and things like that. So we've already talked about some new deals being struck with Google and things like that for their cloud computing and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to a big Q from Google, Microsoft, and Apple. But we already went long Microsoft. So we went long Microsoft today. Didn't really work early. We talked about that. We got out when it broke 244. But then we went long again on a 244.50 break. This is a trade that obviously I wish we still had on. Our best out was 245.73. Still for a nice little profitable name, or profitable trade there for us. But still, that 247 right there coming into play again for Microsoft, up 1.86%. Look, more than the market coming through right now. And then quite frankly, still needs to go, man. I mean, you're well below the 200 period. There's lots of work to be done on a lot of these names. Come on, man. Amazon was just in there for me, and then it just popped right back up again. So anyways, Microsoft, I mean, I'll short this when it gets to 260. Until then, I really do like the long, and I like Microsoft here. It's just, I don't really find any trades sort of at any key levels right now. I mean, there are key levels, but nothing that I really want to put on. We're on Amazon right now, and look at this. The market is right here this is the NASDAQ, right here at the high of the day one more time. So 11,470. I'm still waiting for that 11,500, thinking that we could get blowout to the upside, and then I want to go over, and I'm just kind of like lining up in my mind what names do I want to short? I know I want to short AMD if the market does pop a lot because we're getting near that $60 level. Again, Apple 150, not super concerned about that. I think it's going to take it out. But there we go. Oops, I was going to say there goes Amazon as well. Flip to the long on that one.
Yeah, Tesla did just take out that 210, but like not a ton of gusto on that first move. It's going to be, what did it go to, like 210.20? That's not a heck of a lot of a push. It's a decent amount of volume in this move, and the market is trying to take out these highs, so I want to give it a chance. But this is the pre-market top. Like, ignore these wicks. You had one press of this 210 level, and I think it got close to 211, and that was about it. So you are running into a bit of overhead resistance here, which does mean I'm probably going to have to treat at least a little bit of that on the way to the upside. It's not a bad breakout. Like, I'm sitting here complaining that it's not really going. It did immediately go in the money. It hasn't gone back below 210, but just not a lot of velocity. Like, I'm expecting, Tesla can do 210 right into 211. That just hasn't happened for me. NVIDIA obviously comes right back at the money. Caterpillar's starting to go here. It's just not super explosive. And I kind of feel like this is why we were short everything on Friday. You weren't getting these explosive breaks, and it just felt like everything was better pullbacks than they were breakouts. And that's kind of what I'm finding here. There's buyers on Tesla up in this range, just not enough to make it go that first dollar. And that makes me feel like if I even see 211, I should just take it out at said 211 price and maybe look for the short on Tesla, because that's not a very convincing break as far as I can see. Brendo?
A little fintech moving here, guys. Marqeta, which is MQ. launching a whole array, apparently, of banking products, so getting further into this space. But they're not liking that news too much. Heavy volume downside for MQ.
I don't believe you, Tesla.
MQ. All right. You guys might have saw, or not saw, but heard me say, oh, we're out of Amazon. Yeah, because we are. We tested it there. That was a good move. And then, our average price was 36, I think it was. And then we managed to get out right there at 60. So, yeah, not a great trade. Not super happy with it there on Amazon because it did take out the high. And, of course, we did represent, that sort of that high there and, did not test that. So, that could be something there. I don't really want to get into it because, like I said, we're only 20 points away until that 11,500 level. So that's going to be something to look at here. We could short Softy as that's coming up to another level that we talked about, trying to get our ducks in order here. But this is all the way up. I said AMD. I actually thought AMD was closer to 60 than this because it's when I looked at this before. We just talked about it's 59. Meant to say 59, not 60. So that's at a key level right there of 59 that we've shorted before. And we could short again right now. But look at the market, right? Up 1%. This is why I was getting my ducks lined up for AMD because that is still relatively weak against the market. But I'm trying to change, man. I don't want to be here, shorting all of these rips all the time. I said on Friday that the risk to reward was to the downside, well, it was to the upside because the market kept going. But, if you were going to lose, it was easy to lose because you could see which way the market was going. And I thought that there could have been a big retracement to the downside. I just don't know. I don't want to play that game today. I don't know which way we're going anymore. The market just keeps on going high side now. And unless we look at the 10-year or something winds up switching there, then VIX is below 30 now, and the market just keeps on moving to the high side. So we got to find some longs, and it might just be Apple 150, man, because there it is. It's just
slowly. It just grinds higher. It's pretty impressive to watch. But one of the frustrating things for me is I'm looking at the market's at tops, and I look at TLT. It's diddling in the middle.
Here we go.
Right in the middle of the range. That's a little bit frustrating. I'm watching UVXY. That's diddling in the middle of the range, and the market's just are we actually going to continue this move up? I have a breakout on Caterpillar that I'm trying to hold on to, but Tesla, I didn't think that was very convincing. So I got in, it broke, it got 50 cents in the money, and then it came right back, it break even. I said, you know what, I don't like that top. Nvidia is now starting to go, but I've been sitting in Nvidia for a while. It's only now just getting back up toward those highs. So I'll take some legs out in front of 127 and try to hold on to the rest. But at this point, I'd like to see just a little bit more strength in this move before I add something else. Tesla was a clean breakout. It's Caterpillar and Nvidia that I've been trying to hold, and then here comes Apple. Here's 150 on Apple. It got to 140. Here it is right now.
Yep.
150,000 shares on the offer. So here comes that 150 on Apple. I feel like this is going to be a crowded trade, but so be it. It's the strongest thing out there.
Yeah, I shorted, and not for very long. You're going to see me get the heck out of Dodge as soon as this one breaks. Because, like I said, we're short right here, 10 cents worth of risk. Sign me up. So we're going to go short right now on Apple. We're short 90s, so it's not a great position. You could have just had 97s, 98s, but I don't want to average into this trade. I have a position already. I'm comfortable with the hit when it breaks through 150, and I'm just really proud, to be honest with you, because on the sticky note, we talked about that 148 to 150. It's written right on there today, so if you did like those longs, that's what we should have had, and we didn't have Apple at all today, except for when we tried to go long right here at 147, before it breaking. And it takes a lot of to sort of hold some of these trades, especially Apple, because you don't have any help. If the market's tanking, then and you're in Apple, you're on an island by yourself, because honestly, it's just going to sort of follow with whatever the market's going to do. So unless you have a great read on the market pulling back, I don't think Apple's going to do that for you. So here we go, man. We're looking like it wants to break right now. Apple 150. I don't know if you're short or long, but there it goes right here.
Well, I'll be probably both if it breaks. Well, I'm short now, but that's right in front of it. I told you guys I'd probably just short 96, 97, 98 or something like that in front of 150. I am taking the long breakout, but it's irresistible. You get a few 100,000 shares on the offer. You risk essentially, hopefully 5 cents to try and get this pullback into maybe even 60s would be good. But the risk, of course, is it's the strongest stock. Well, it's one of the strongest stocks out there. It's likely to run that level. Ooh, there we go.
See ya.
Just ran it. I got the reversal. I got threes. on that long. Okay, so a few cents worth of slippage. Was able to get out pretty clean there. Oh, and by the way, NVIDIA did just print, so that's starting to go to the upside. Thankfully, so I lost about 6 cents on the Apple trade. Ooh, it feels like that's louder than it was before, but I don't know.
Maybe.
Either way, so reverse long into Apple, now the 150. Hopefully jailbreak is on. I was just complaining about NVIDIA, and now it's starting to challenge back into that 127. So 126 that holds the channel, now starting to get to the upside. I mean, I was giving it at least 25 pennies, so until it got like 25 cents of money, I wasn't really taking anything out there. So NVIDIA's starting to work. Apple on that break, like, don't give me this wick top nonsense. Right, like you're not shaking me out of the trade. I want to give it some room there. I just zoomed out instead of in. That's a little bit better. I don't want to get wicked out of this trade. I want to give this some. It's been churning to the upside. It would make sense that the deepest pullback would come when it's trying to trap people with the 150 long. So you're going to have to give this one some room here. Caterpillar, what's Caterpillar doing? Yeah, that's actually pulling back a little bit as well. So as this tries to figure itself out, this being Apple, Caterpillar's trying to make a bit of a dip as well. If it bounces off of 190, 160, I might add to this position because this market is continuing to press these highs. So anything you like long, just give it some room and let it try to run, baby. So here we go. Let's see if we can get some home runs. Not like Bryce Harper, because you only get to, look, hitting a bomb to go to the World Series, I mean, that's about as good as it gets. There's only one thing that's better than that. And it happened a few years ago yesterday. And that was touch 'em all, Joe.
Funny thing is, you say a few years ago.
Okay, yeah.
Half our audience wasn't alive when that happened. So
It's a few. To me, it's a few years ago.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so crazy
It was a
how
long
fast
time
time goes there. And you guys might not even. That's the Blue
Touch 'em all,
Jays
Joe.
World Series there. 90. That was against Phillies. That was the Phillies one? Yeah. So that was their second World Series.
Back to back, baby.
Back to back. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, congratulations to the Houston Astros as well. 4 out of the last 6 years into the finals.
Go
there. So,
Philly.
Yeah, get somebody different.
Go Philly. That's all I
got
gotta say. And I'm not like. Actually, I love the city of Philly. I've been a few times. It's a great, fantastic city. I like Texas too. It's hard. I'm just not much of an Astros fan. Sorry, you guys probably can figure out why.
Yeah, I mean, plus in the AL too. But I would have liked to see the Yankees make it there as well. But I don't know. That's okay. Aaron Judge is going to hopefully get paid this offseason.
Hopefully get paid.
We'll see where he goes. I don't think he's going to get as much. I don't think he's going to get as much as he wants. But we'll see.
You don't think so, eh?
No. What does he want?
He's gonna
Whatever he wants, he's not getting. I don't.
400 million total contract. You don't think he's gonna see that?
No. I don't think he's. Oh, let's see. Let's wait to see. We'll see. I mean, I don't think he's going to get it from the Yankees.
Just hit 62 home runs.
I know. Just wait to see. We'll see what happens there with Mr. Judge. Okay. All right. So there it is, man. I was going to go over to Apple. Tesla there because, I was going to say Asla there. Tesla because mix of Apple and Tesla. That's not a bad company, actually. I should think about that. Apple should actually team up with Tesla maybe and get that car going there instead of Kia. Asla. Yeah, that's a good name. That's actually a pretty good name. I should send that to Elon right there. Okay, 211 is a level that we weren't minding for Tesla, but again, it's been wrong, right? To try to play the shorts has been, simply put, wrong here into the close. So we talked about Amazon. I mean, this is the one thing that I'm going to be like, that was a good idea. We got out of Amazon, so nothing to really worry about there to the upside there for that. So yeah, people love that.
There's one. They specialize in charging ports.
Right. Yeah, that's a little bit dirty, but yeah, we don't talk like that.
What are you talking about? That's
okay. There's Amazon. Maybe 120 there. I feel like there is going to be a short coming in at some point, but where is it? Where is that short, man? 120 flat. Is it going to be Microsoft? What else do we need? What else is against? Oh, it was AMD was the name that was against the market here at 59. So yeah, this is going to be the name here to short. I think if there's going to be a short to come through. Look where we are, man. It's so stupid. Just trade the damn futures. I was like, oh, the Nasdaq's going to go to 11,500. Well, that's exactly what happened, and now it's dancing. So you could have shorted that and held for 8 points to the downside. Stupid, but there it is anyways. Nice little move there. What is Apple doing? Apple's come back in a little bit. So again, just messing with some of this top side, not really worth it there. Oh, that sucks, man. We went right to 11,500. Let's just short AMD now and see if that 11,500 top wants to hold. Let's do that. Let's short AMD.
I just saw, Alibaba. Yeah, Alibaba is making a breakout. So a little bit of a move. So look, these Chinese names sometimes do absolutely nothing in the afternoon. So I'm glad to see this is breaking. It was Pinduoduo that I was more interested in. I just thought it was, okay, never mind. I just thought this was more interesting if it broke 45, but I can see we're nowhere near that 45 level. So unfortunately, maybe nothing to see there. RCL, which I never got into CCL, so as the market tries to go higher, Apple decides it wants to test this breakout, which, you know, I'm looking for places to add on Apple. Now you're starting to see RCL roll over. It's not to say that I want to chase CCL, but I do want in this. I missed the offer by 1 cent, it looks like. Why am I'm sitting there at 27 and it got to 26? So I'm going to offer 25 and just see if I get it. RCL starting to come back in there. Just a nice little double top that I was able to see. NVIDIA, because of course it is. It's rejecting the high as well, so maybe I'll take if I can get it, I'll take another leg out of NVIDIA. It makes the curl, bounces off 126, can't seem to get through 127, so I'll respect that and get another leg out. I'm still holding a piece of that position. Mullen, so it did bounce off VWAP. I did get in. I'm not trying to add to this as it tries to go higher, but it gets exciting if it breaks 55. I think we all recognize that. Look, I'm looking to play this to 55. I just think there's a better move coming if it can get through said 55. So, you know, NVIDIA already working. We'll see if Apple can follow through. Caterpillar still holding right around that 192. And yep, I should have just held on to Tesla because it's trying to challenge that 211. But it's not really convincingly through the pre-market highs just yet. It's still down 2% on the day. But the only shorts left, RCL and Snapchat for, you know, Snapchat, this is the other thing. I should be adding to Snapchat because it is not going anywhere. It will not go back to the high so we can get back into the short up there. And if it's not going to do that when the market's breaking out, then on the next sign of weakness, I'm just going to short Snapchat right here. Brendo?
We saw a very kind of mixed board for consumer stocks. Today, here's toy maker Mattel, guys, going to report tomorrow, re-upping their partnership with Pokemon today for another couple of years. So MAT comes tomorrow. Hasbro not really doing anything today as well, but kind of flat here.
I should tell Prad there because I know he's very, very worried about the Pokemon there. So we'll talk.
Isn't that Greg?
I don't know. I think they both play that, or is it Magic the Gathering? I don't know.
Both.
Both.
I think they do both.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's good for Mattel there. I mean, Pokemon's a huge franchise, like all jokes aside. So I think that's a great move there for them and anybody involved with Hasbro or Mattel. I mean, toys. I mean, they're coming into the season, right? I mean, it's gonna be Christmas time there. I just worry sometimes about margins because when you're selling stuff on Amazon, it's just so competitive. I just wonder, you know, what that looks like for them. But well, that's what earnings are for. So. We'll wait to see. AMD right now is working, but not really. It's down 7 cents. You know, it's just working off 59. We're going to have to give it some room here to exactly work to the downside. I'm not going to give it too much more than 59, but I do want to average up into 59 and then give it a little bit of breathing room after that. So we'll see if we can manage to get that there for Amazon now for AMD to the downside. The reason why I'm looking at Amazon is because it's doing the same similar dance here at 120, trying to figure out what it wants to do. I chose AMD as just Amazon hasn't been really great going short recently because we just got hit on it. So let's go back over to AMD, which is a good stock for me today because look at that bottom, 56.80 we have as a bottom. Like, it's so crazy. I have a bottom of 56.80 and now here I am short 58.95. So that's a little bit tough one there, a tough pill to swallow, like especially now that I wait for this thing to come down. And like, quite frankly, I'm waiting here at 85 to see if we can take a dime on the first piece and then again lower. And then we'll see about this 200 period at 60 can come into play here for AMD. So yeah, I like this name. Let's just see where it goes now on this level. So AMD, hopefully, downside now bidding 85s. Our NEO is right back, man. I mean, NEO made 52-week bottom today, obviously. Once it broke through 1050, that was the 52-week bottom. But here goes NEO. So this is going to be a nice trade. We just sit here and we try to hold this. Come on, AMD. Give me that 85, man. It's at 86 on the bid right now. Hopefully we can get an 85 print, like 1 penny. I'm almost thinking about changing it right now. But there's NEO up to 950, a good little level there, trying to break out to the upside. Glad we're still holding this one. NEO, nice little hold here, up to 950, looking to take that out. And did we get that AMD? No, we did not. Here it is right here, 87. It was just 86 on the bid. We're bidding 85, so hopefully we can get a fill back down through. I'd hate to lose this because I'm waiting for 1 extra penny, but whatever. Let's just stay disciplined and wait for that name to come through. Right now, AMD on the short against 59.
Yeah, and here comes RCL starting to accelerate to the downside. Apple's right at 149.99, just back and forth. So, look, it's probably going to have to settle things out. The market's still churning higher. I still like it for relative strength, but this break needs to start going at some point. I'm on the bid on RCL. We'll see if I end up getting NVIDIA. I'm not even sure I'm going to get. Not NVIDIA. That CCL trade, that was the other one I was going to be watching. Mullen's back about 51, so it looks like it's about to make a run at said high of the day. But Caterpillar, yeah, that's a breakout. That it's still going sideways here. So the market continues to churn higher, and this is running out of steam a little bit, which is a bit disappointing here. Strong move, strong level on the daily as well that I thought would still have some room to run. But unfortunately, I think I'm seeing a lack of follow through on this name. It's Tesla that I'll be, I don't want to say pissed off about, but like, really, Tesla? Like, I get out of that break. It's not like it was a losing trade. I got break even out on the second half of the trade, but I wasn't convinced with it, and now it continues to go. But that's part of the reason why I'm just sort of hanging on to Apple here. I actually added a bit on a dip, and I want to give it a chance to go. Like, Apple's entirely too strong to write this one off. You know, it's been just gliding to the upside. I'll give it a chance to continue to glide to the upside and take me with it. I'm not reversing into the short on this name. I'm not giving it up. It needs to actually do a convincing move back in there. Gets to 150.50. I am taking some shares out on the way upside, but this market is just slowly moving up. It's hard to want anything short unless you find just an absolutely fantastic level. That's what 50 was on RCL. That's why I'm shorted. And I'm still in Snapchat because it doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. I'm just hanging on to it.
Yeah, we did get that 85 fill, but we did not get an 80 fill. So we did get our 85 fill there on AMD. We talked about sitting there, so we collect the rebate, get that fill as it breaks through 58.85 right now. But let's look for something else. Amazon is way off now, up to 120.20. So we're going to sort of leave that one alone. Snapchat up now 8% today. That's going to be a good name to look at here. So let's do that quickly. Snapchat up 8% today and continuing to make that move higher. Great amount of volume, 150. Is that right? That seems like the same amount of shares NEO has. Yeah, that's right. 142 million shares today off that bottom. Like, again, getting hit there on Meta downgrade and just Snapchat in general coming to the downside off of, again, maybe, I don't know, does Snapchat even exist in China? I'm not even sure about that, to be honest with you. But a nice little move to the downside there for Snapchat. And again, we know that they have some horrible earnings. Back up to $8, $8.50 right now, coming down through. And remember, there was that TikTok news. So that's sort of what turned everything around, which is why my mind automatically sort of goes to China right there, right? Is that we did talk about TikTok being investigated by the DOJ. And if they get pulled, like what Trump was trying to do was basically ban TikTok from being used in the United States because it's ByteDance, right, which is Chinese based, and they're just gathering anybody that has TikTok on their phone and location service enabled. Basically, Chinese company is able just to watch wherever you are at all times. Now, whether or not that happens to most likely every app. So you got to do your research. I mean, it doesn't, but you got to do your research on that kind of stuff.
It's a little different.
It's a little different, yeah. But I'm sure there's other apps out there that we all have that are some kind of Chinese base. But if not, do your research on that one, man. And I just want to say that was part of the problem. So if they do get banned here in the United States, then yeah, I could see some windfalls happening to Snapchat, Meta, which is Meta is also Instagram, obviously. So I could see YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and Snapchat Snaps. I don't know what they're called. Being more popular once again. If, and I don't know if that's going to happen, if TikTok does get banned somehow here in the United States and Canada. That's right.
I don't know, I'm feeling patriotic because we got some elections happening today. But we're going to ring the register. Apple finally retakes the high of the day, up at 150.25. So hanging on to that long is working out. NVIDIA, you're right back up at the top, 126.99. Sometimes it goes right to that level and then holds. I have taken a bunch out of it. Now I'm looking for that 27 to break out and continue this move. The market is churning higher. RCL's probably going to end up a loser if it does break that 50. It just hasn't happened yet, but we're going to hang on to these longs. Apple's been super strong. At NVIDIA list, I just took out that 27 level, so I'm holding this one to be sure. And then the aforementioned Snapchat, I mean, it's barely going higher here, so I'm just waiting for a market turn. The first sign of a market turn, and I'm shorting Snapchat more. It's just slowly grinding higher, can't get back, and it rejected 850 big time. So if it rejects it again, I want to be all over that if it does happen. For those of you still tuning into Tesla, yeah, held on NVIDIA, held on Apple, did not hold on to the Tesla long. It's now at 212. So Tesla looking pretty strong. If you're looking for next resistance, I mean, 215 is a pretty big level on Tesla. I said it this morning. If it gets to 215, I'm shorting it. So we're at it's 320 in the afternoon. It seems unlikely we get there with, before the imbalances happen, but stranger things have been true. So Tesla, a little stronger than I wanted to give it credit for. I've had 2 breakout longs, and I held neither of those on Tesla. It's like scalp it out, don't believe, break even. Breakout, scalp it out, don't believe, and then it continues to go both times. So sometimes it's just easier when you like the story or like fundamentally, like it's easier to hold on to Apple, just give it some room on a breakout other than Tesla, because I came in today thinking 200 break on Tesla, which is obviously a downside move, and maybe that's clouding my judgment of any upside moves. SPY taking out fresh levels. That 11.5 on the NASDAQ is now gone, so you want to think about what is going to hold up here. I'm disappointed in Caterpillar because as far as I'm concerned, like it should be doing more than just sitting here at the high. This is one break that could end up lame. I might just have to take it out where it lies. And NVIDIA, if it breaks, if it reclaims that high of the day, I might think about a trailing stop, but it just wick topped 127 and came back in. This is sometimes why I like buying dips or buying big important levels like that previous 126. Like I like that better. That double top at 127 kind of running into air here on NVIDIA and slowing down at these highs.
Like I put a bid at 90, like I'm short at 97. This thing won't even break. We're back to AMD, by the way. And I do see what you're saying there, Frank Jones, guys. Oh man, it's like I'm trying to be patient, just like you are with Amazon. Like I'm trying to sit here and try to like pick up some of these levels, and including this AMD short. So I'm trying to snipe a little bit here. But I can't even get 5 cents on the downside. Like it's literally stopping both every time at 90. I mean, we could zoom in a little bit. It doesn't matter. Every time at 92, that's like 6 candles in a row, which these are just 6 minutes, that this name just wants to hang out on the upside. So yeah, we are very nervous here about some of these shorts. And again, I said that I wouldn't do this. There we go, we just got 92. That we didn't really want to wait around for too many of these plays today. So let's just keep on it, man. I mean, if it's going to go short side, that's fine. I'm also bidding an 88 where we stopped last time right there. Actually, that's an 85, but 88 right there. We'll see if we can catch a bid. And then after that, then we can just be like reloaded and figure out something out after that, because for now I'm pretty happy holding on to this short, debating just taking this NEO out. Probably will do that, but you can see where this 50 period is all the way here at 40. It's like if I'm going to win on this on these shorts, then I'm fine with this coming back in. I have way more shares, 5 times the shares on AMD that I do on NEO, because NEO we're almost out of this long. You can see we were out early and we just trying to held the last little bit there. So all right, here we go. Now AMD's starting to come in a little bit. 85s again on the bid. So again, just trying to scalp out some of these. We are out. So we are trying to respect the fact that this market is still high side right now. Let's take a little bit out. We still have 70%, and now we're going to hold, man. Let's hold for 75s here on AMD.
Yeah, so people asking me, I talk about Mullen. Look, it's not doing a ton, and I should be scalping it more aggressively because it's not doing a ton. It's bounced off VWAP, and I'm not even getting fills 52, 53, but I just added in front of 50. So if it gets up to the top end of the range and just wants to be a scalp off the VWAP to potentially the highs, I'll just go ahead and do that. But the market made another top, went right back up there, and then rejected the high again, which is exactly what RCL did. Went to 98. Rejected another time. Like, okay, well, I don't love anything else off the high, so I'll just add to the thing that I'm already in. If we're not breaking the top, I'll jump into the shorts. I keep missing CCL, which is kind of weird. I'm sitting. I moved from 26 to 25, and then it goes right to 25, and then I missed that short. So thankfully, I'm in RCL, at least able to get that. But Apple's starting to pull back. I will take one more dip in front of 149.5 here on Apple. But if we can't sustain this breakout, the market is looking like it wants to roll over. I'm just wishing I had something other than RCL short side. Well, Snapchat I'm about to grab as well. But Brendo?
A couple others showing some strength here late in the day. 2% here for this one, guys. Chewy. just on a day high alert. A little bit of volume coming back into Chewy, and also this sober safe going, well, I mean, up a little bit. There was a pop early on decent volume, trying to get going again, up 10% once again for SOBR.
Okay, yeah.
Is that ever not going, that stock?
That's a good name, though. I mean, I like what they're doing there. Hopefully they get approved for that at some point. Again, I just took another piece out at 90, unfortunately. We're short at 98 here on AMD, so it's just like, I don't want to just take this out, but I'm ready to reload it anyways at 59, so we'll take another piece out. Still have 60% on this. I just like, I'm a little disheartened because I don't want to, I mean, look, I'm here to scalp. Every time we scalp out, we're making some money. It's just like, though, if it blows up to the upside, then all of these scalps aren't going to mean anything because I'm going to lose on the end of the position, right? So I do want to try to hold on to this, and I just feel like you're right back to 11,500 right now. So we did absorb some of that move to the upside. So now let's see if we can get paid off if there's a downside move, right? Maybe that is the high, and we can now hold out till into the close. I still do have that 80 bid, and if we do get filled there, then we'll have half left. So yeah, it'll still be a 20-cent win, but again, looking to reload it if it does come back upside, and then we'll work on it from there. So that's sort of my play right now on this would be to reload and then see where we go. So that's what we're doing now, and then just hoping for the best on this AMD trade, which I think we can get. So so far so good on that one. NEO, we talked about where our out would be. It's going to be 40. I could probably change that as we start to move around a little bit, but I'm going to try to watch that. If the market keeps going high side, then that's a level that we'll be at right there. You guys are going to hold Mullen through the night. That's up to you.
Up here, like,
yeah, what do you think?
it's always way different. Like if you still have it from last week in like the 20s and the 30s, and you're just still sitting in the money. That's one idea, but it just rejected 55, and it's still, if it tips below 50 cents, I can see it pulling back into 40. That's what I actually prefer to happen. I don't love it personally because it's already been a double up in just a week. Actually more than that, so I'm not really a huge fan of it. I was just wondering, I just got back into Snapchat, and I'm sitting there like I hit the bid. I'm like, why am I not getting filled? And then because I was looking at the chart, I'm like, yeah, okay, well, this 1 day, 2 days, it shouldn't be SSR. But I'm like, oh yeah, it was aftermarket that it had the earnings and plunge. So this is the second day of being SSR. Short sell restricted, you can't hit the bid, you have to wait for an uptick. Uptick came, I'm now back into shorts and Snapchat off of these highs. The market keeps going higher. This is very slowly pressing. So I think if we roll over, 50 holding on RCL, Snapchat holding the high, could get back into VWAP. You even had that TikTok news, which gave it a bump, but then it faded when there was, I guess, nothing to see here was the story. So I'm going to get some bids on the way down into VWAP here on Snapchat. I wouldn't necessarily hold Mullen, but we're day traders, so we're not about holding anything. As a matter of fact, even as we get closer to the end of the day here, it's like we're already at 330, and this won't even continue to the upside. At this point, I'm like, well, come on, Apple, you know where to get off the pot. I've been trying to get a bit of a dip buy to try and run this to continue to go higher, and it's just started to slow down pretty heavily as well. NVIDIA, I think this one will be just fine. It did get a wick top off 127, but I'm only long at 126. I didn't chase it all the way up. What I did chase, unfortunately, was Caterpillar. So there were 4 longs. Tesla in and out pretty quick. It was a small win. But Caterpillar loses. AMD and Apple, they're obviously stronger anyways on the day. They're up 1.9 and 1.7. Cat was up less than 1. It just would not go after making that top break. We'll see what happens later on in the week. I do believe we have their report coming up as well. But just a disappointment there on that breakout on Cat. And there was a big volume spike when I got stopped out there. So hang on to what's working. That's NVIDIA and Apple. Unfortunately, not Caterpillar.
Oh, man. All right. I mean, I'm still staring at this Amazon right in the face right now. What are you doing, Frank Jones? I mean, I haven't seen you in a bit, but you are thinking about shorting this as well. It's given us this top a couple times here. I did reshort AMD. It did go to the upside, so we do have a reloaded position there at 98 for AMD. But yeah, this 120.30. The only thing is like I'm already. It's just, do I want to double whammy? Like, why wouldn't I honestly
no whammy.
no whammy. Stop whammy, right? I mean, that's been what's been happening to the account here lately. So I feel like we definitely want to make sure that we have something coming out here for that name. So let's just be careful with it, and that is going to be too many whammies, right? And what I mean by that is just very, very simple. It's like if you go to the downside here, and we just took another piece out, I already have AMD, so do I want to double the amount of shares on something like an AMD just simply to not worry about it and move over to Amazon, right? So let's see if this one will continue to print to the downside here, AMD. There's another fill, and then there's another out at 90. So now we're starting to push down. Looks like that Amazon, see, this is what I mean. Like, see how this one, like now I have to fight with this because it's not going. Meanwhile, AMD, we are now out of a little bit more of this trade. So let's see if this one wants to keep moving to the downside. So, right now it's no whammy, but we're going to wait to see what happens up near 59 where I'm going to reload it. I feel like the last half hour, why don't we just sit on this AMD trade? I mean, if the market fades, I like this name, AMD for a fade. It's basically flat on the day. We have some more downside. So let's see if it can give it to us.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we're positioned basically sitting at the high of the day, right? So if you got a long that you like and it's either in the money or pretty much at the money, I don't see a reason to panic out of it. I have 2 shorts that I like. If the market flushes, then these can work out, and hopefully I'm not like ridiculous and cancel my stops or anything on, say, Apple or Nvidia. But yeah, I have a couple I like in either direction. Getting more doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense there. Havana Woody saying double down, Neil. Oh, I guess you're talking about Mullen. You're talking about Mullen, obviously. Because I was just saying, I'm like the Mullen jinx, right? Like early this morning, Mullen made all the sense in the world. This afternoon, it's like I started short, that stopped out. This long isn't doing anything but churning back into the downsides. I think it's frustrating. It was pretty clear off the open, that initial 50 break. Sometimes it's just like that's the trade. Or if you got it early, I was looking for a dip buy into 42s. It just never really got it there at the open. It happened in the pre-market. Sometimes you get that one trade, and that should just be it. Like the 50 to 54, it's 8%. You should just take that and say, forget about it. You get it. It either goes, it either follows through. No need to reload and try to fight the stock. I'm not saying it's done just yet, but a bit of a disappointment. That sober, I keep looking. Every time I bring it up, I say to myself, and I'm going to actually write this down on my iPad so that I'm watching this in the morning. I don't know why it's taking so long to load up there. There's a 15-minute. But every single morning, I'm never paying attention to this stock. And then come the afternoon, it's always made some kind of a breakout. So a couple of things to look for. Obviously, if it gets through the $4 level tomorrow, that could be a pretty significant break. It's got decent support at $3. Everything else, I think, is a little bit of a distraction. Maybe there's like a 330 that it can now hold for support, but I got to add this one to the list because it feels like there's a significant break up or down at some point every single day, and they're not that complicated. Break of the pre-market low, nice flush from $3.50 to $3. Break of this resistance here, 330, goes right up 10%. Like that 10% moves, you're not going to sniff at those. You can't sniff at those, and they're pretty clean every time they happen on Sober. So I have to add this one to my list of stocks to watch.
Yeah, Sober's a good name. All right, so AMD, we did take an 85 bid there, so watch out to see what happens here with AMD. I just canceled my 80, took an 85, whatever, man. It's 15 cents. We're at the bottom right now of this move. So like I said, let's just try to hold out. I don't know. Brendan's going to cut. There it is. You know what? I don't really hold. Again, we get it from Financial Juice, so it's $212 million to buy on the close Imbalance. So, buy Imbalance. But I think last week, one was a sell or something, then it came out a big buy. Like, take whatever for granted. Like, it's just, like with a grain of salt. Like, I just don't know if these are going to be true or not into the close. So much can change from now into the next 20 minutes. Let's just see where they come out. So I'm not going to position myself based on what I think is going to happen here. I'm just going to try to hold on to things that we have. And right now, I feel like the market wants to get down. I mean, we're just tested that level of 1,500 or 11,500. Plus, maybe we want to see 3,800 on the NASDAQ, on the ES again. So that could be a level of concern for us one more time here on the NASDAQ. So yeah, let's just pay attention. Hopefully we get a good fill into the close on AMD, but that's a level to look at. Your Amazon is working to the downside right now as well. We did talk earlier about the banks. Let's see what those are doing. We haven't traded.
I should have shorted Morgan Stanley. You know what?
JP Morgan is still
regardless of where Morgan Stanley is, I know I should have shorted the stock. And that's I had this thesis, and Apple's coming back in, so I'm just sort of making sure that I'm still going to stop out where I need to, just beneath that one. It's 149 and then about 70 cents. I don't like that quarter too much, but I said on the earnings that Morgan Stanley, it was a bad report, and I wanted to short the 80 level. after that earnings play, and it's like it goes right to 80, flops $1.50, comes back up close to this. This is what it looks like on the daily chart. Like, look at, there's your 80 channel there. It stands out like a sore thumb, right? And I say it, and then I don't always trade the bags, but it's just giving you opportunities off of this level. And I could have just gone there in the afternoon. Like, that was a perfectly valid trade. Instead, you know, you go to other places. It's not the end of the world here. Finally, RCL starting to come back in. I added to this because, I mean, nothing else was really happening, and it couldn't break the high. So I'm going to get a few more bids down here because it is 3:33, and time is running out. So I do need to start getting on the bid, think about how I'm getting out of some of these trades. NVIDIA, which was a fantastic breakout, went over $1 in the money. Now it's starting to pull back in here. So I'm just going to stop this out. For the last of this, I haven't really added to this, so no need to. I can still have a wide range. I'm giving it 30 pennies originally. I'll continue to give it 30 cents because I am now out of 80% of the trade. So going to have to put a stop on it at some point. That some point is right now on NVIDIA.
You are what you say you are, chip stocks. You are downside right now. Neil and I had some fun there.
Dennis,
with, was it Romeo Crennel or
no,
was it
Dennis Green?
Dennis Green, that's what it was.
They are who we thought they were.
Yeah, for the Cardinals versus Bears. That was a lot of fun there. Oh, man, I thought I just got that. Oh, man, I thought I got that fill. We're waiting at 80. I thought I was waiting at 81. Where am I? Oh, I am waiting at 81. Okay. Well, the futures and AMD went down to 81. We're trying to capture that 17, 18 cents right there, as it is near the bottom of the range. So trying to watch out for that one there. Yeah, Tesla. Tesla's another name there where it just went up to 213.50 again. It's approaching like levels. Where's my 20-minute chart here for Tesla? Again, we're negative on Tesla today because we tried that short again. Actually, I guess we're still a little ways away. I was trying to look at this 215 level. Still a little ways away from that. The high we just got to was 213.75 or so. Well, I can just check it now. That's going to be wrong. Yeah, 213.75. We'll double check that if that's the high or not. But right there, I don't know, man. 215, I think, is where we want to start to short Tesla. Nothing until then, to be honest with you. Tesla's been pretty brutal, but yeah, wow. On a day where it takes down 200 right now. And the funny thing is, even when it took it down, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if that's somehow the bottom here today. And it looks like that is going to be the case at that 200 bottom there for Tesla. Beautiful move to the upside. Yeah, it looks like that's right. 213.40 or so. Yeah, 213.50, I guess the high. So just be careful with your Tesla. See what happens here. I think you could short it against that 213. I've already picked my poison with AMD, but I can't blame you if you want to short Tesla against that high heading into the close. Up 1% and running away from 11.5 now. Interesting to see where we go. It's Brendan. What's up?
A little more volume coming back into this one, guys. I saw this actually in the pre-market this morning, but got away from it because, hey, it's WeWork and it's $2. But a full round trip kind of day for WeWork here. You can see now up 7 after it closed the gap and then some downside initially this morning. Pretty heavy volume back to highs here for WeWork.
WeWork, interesting name.
WeWork.
Yeah, look, you talk about dumpster fires, but Snapchat, it's weird. Like, the market goes up and it doesn't go higher. The market starts to roll over and it doesn't go anywhere. So as we get closer to the end of the day, obviously we have to be flat. That just means we have to close our positions by said end of the day. So when it gets to this point, even if what I want to have happen, which is test the highs or get to VWAP, it doesn't make a difference. The closer we get to the end of the day, I have to tighten my stop up, or I do tighten my stop up. I'm moving it to 850, not the high, and I'm probably going to eventually have to move it to close to break even on this. Apple just bounced a little bit. So it's showing some signs that it wants to at least test back to the upside. But if we get back above 150, we're late enough in the session. I just got to take some out if we get back above that 150 level. It's been pretty solid, but have to get a little bit more aggressive getting some shares out there. RCL, same story, right? Starting to roll over, but not a huge move back into VWAP. So I have to start taking it out for what it's going to give me, or at least what it's attempting to give me here. So just respecting the fact that we're not getting a gigantic follow through. NVIDIA is still working in the money, RCL and Snap. They're not against me, but they're not really following through in either direction. And just going back over to Mullen, just keep you abreast of what's happening. I said, if it bounces off VWAP, I don't think we're seeing the high of the day anymore. So just have to get it out on the way to that high of the day. Same story as before. Like, you have to take the profit wherever it happens to lie. And unfortunately for Mullen, it's not nearly the follow through I'd like. Maybe we get a 55 break tomorrow and it starts to go. There's lots of room on the way to $1, which is what it needs to get to eventually, if it wants to stay listening.
Yeah, shout out to new member. What's up, Peter Beatty? Thank you for joining us. Again, man, we have We have over 2,500 or so, I think we'll have to double check that number, 2,500 or so members with over 350,000 subscribers. So please, we didn't ask for you on the first show. Please make sure you hit the like button right now for that. It was a little disappointing last week because we didn't hit the numbers for the wrap, but we need to get...
I was disappointed.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think everybody was, I think. But hopefully we can do that soon. 2,000 likes on the closing show, and Neil will have something for you. Is that any day, or we're trying to get that for Friday? I think we should keep it on Fridays, but that's up to you and the family.
Oh, I kind of said any day because then I can have two things for this week, which gives me an opportunity. So
all right, so what are we at right now for the likes? Let's see if we could do that. Whoops, still frozen there. 940. Likes so far there for us here today. So let's see if we can get that going a little bit right there. Still frozen. Oh, there it goes. Now it's loaded back up on the trade of the day. But 970 likes right there, guys. See if we can turn that around and get a little bit more into the close. At least 1,500 would be real nice. So, all right. Yeah, Tesla. Wow. Tesla coming in a little bit here off of that 213.50 level. Now 212 coming through as the market trying to come downside. I'm going to put it, honestly, guys, I'm going to put another bid here. I'm just going to cancel the 81. Whoops, they're cancel the 81s. Now it comes right into 81. We'll take another 83 as that looking like a good trade coming back into the downside right now. So let's just respect everything here. Make sure we're getting some out into this close. There's only 20 more minutes. If you're joining us again for the first time, thank you. But Neil and I trade on equity. So it's not options. It's not CFDs, anything like that. It's physical stock, and we trade through a prop firm called Day Trade the World, and it's a policy to be flat by 4 p.m. so that there's no overnight risk or no earnings risk and things like that. So that's the policy here. And when you're trading with firm capital, you know, you have to behave or you get slapped on the wrist a little bit, and we don't want that to happen. So let's...
You never want that call from compliance. What are you doing?
No, you never want that call from compliance.
Well, it's usually an email.
That's for sure. And yeah, and if I get it, then it always winds up being not good. So we'll wait to see on that one. But yeah, shout out to Day Trade the World, man. Great surveillance, great compliance, and make sure that you know, if you did have any rules that need to be explained, talk to your trading floor development team.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, it's one of the things that it bears mentioning here. It's important to have strong compliance because that's one of the good things about Day Trade the World. You want to make sure that if you're trading at a prop floor, you want to be trading tomorrow. Right?
Yes, sir.
So you don't want a firm that's like just going to run afoul of all the rules, and all of a sudden, you know, you're getting banned on some market or something because some trader has broken a rule. No, you want firm compliance so that you can be there trading every single day and have that reliability. I think it's an important thing. I also think it's important we start to get a little bit flat here. It was a small buy imbalance that we're seeing to the upside, not really causing any follow through in the markets. I just keep taking more shares out pretty much across the board of everything I have. And I'm going to have to start getting out flat on Snapchat. That's me being frustrated by that move because it's not going anywhere. And then more shares only at 51 in Mullen, which is, again, another disappointment. I just want these things to start going. Right? Like I feel like we're doing exactly the same thing where we're getting to these highs. We're not giving big pullbacks. We're not giving big breakouts, which is a bit disappointing. Don't need these bids all the way down here. Not sure we're going to get them. So RCL, it's been fine. And I thank you guys for pointing this one out because I was waiting around for CCL, which I can cancel that order, doing absolutely nothing. RCL just give me the shot at that 50 level for at least a little bit of a scalp trade. Nvidia's starting to pull back in. Apple's starting to pull back in. I'm very close to my stop on Apple. Nvidia, I might just tighten it up and not even say 125.80. I'll just give it to break even, which is just above that 126. No need to lose on the last of this trade. So break even stop, I'm going to move it to on Nvidia, as that's been one of the better ones. I'm going to cancel my Twitter orders. Just start to clean things up here because I don't need that coming in. I probably am going to be trading Twitter. I think I'll be trading Twitter up until Friday. But what I want to do is look for breakouts, right? So every single time it tries to break a high, that might be the time it's the confirmation the deal's actually going to go through.
Right.
And if you catch that move, it could be worth a couple of dollars. So it might be worth a couple of false breaks to just be constantly sitting with some solid breakouts on Twitter. But nothing for today. It's been a bit of a nothing burger.
All right. Let's just do this quickly because it's a new trade and it's out of NIO. So we've covered. Someone said in the chat, I know you explained it earlier, and I don't know if it was the same person, but Neil explained it in the early show that we had today. Cover just means like we're getting out of a position that we currently have, or we're starting to get out. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're trying to get flat or anything like that. But in this situation, I have no more NEO shares left. So when a trader, or like when I'll say I've covered NEO now, it means like I'm covered, I'm out. It's like, so I've covered it. It's now a done trade, kind of has that lid on it. So that's what we've done now for NIO. It broke back down below, and you got to have your outs. But this one was definitely one of those kind of money stocks for me here on NIO. So a good cover right there from an 880 long, out right there 944, because we have to have outs, right? I mean, it broke through the 50 period. I told you I'd be adjusting that on the way up. You're starting to curve a little bit right here for that. So far so good here on the out for NIO. And then another one, man, let's hit this now, because yeah, it finally paid off a little bit, the short. We should have double covered ourselves, like you guys were talking about there in the chat with Amazon. No, someone said to you to go short or whatever it was. I didn't want.
On Amazon?
No, not on, it was on something else. I don't remember what it was. They're saying double down or something. I don't. You talked about it. It was the fact.
It was RCL.
Snapchat, whatever.
It was
yeah,
RCL.
RCL, that's what it was.
Maybe.
But anyways, we could have doubled down on Amazon. We could have gone short on Amazon. That would have paid off as well. Let's just check out Amazon chart right here. What's up to Frank Jones and everybody that did go short in there, and to Mike Jones as well for that. But 120.30 right there. What a great short for anybody that saw that. We were trying to be patient and wait for that level. The only problem is, and hey, man, 99 problems. Long isn't one right now. The short is a good trade coming in right here, but the long is one, I guess. But there it is right there. Same kind of look as Amazon, but we just chose AMD. So there's a nice little downside move for AMD into the close. Looks like, yes, sir. Here we go. Let's go. Let's get excited here to the downside. Maybe these bulls versus bears there. What's up to our moderator? Let's see if the bears can win right now. Pull us back down through 11,500. Some more downside moves, 30 cents in the money with AMD. And Brendo always seems to be in the money with something. What's up, Brendo?
Just reading an interesting note on this one. GoGo Wireless, GOGO. We talked about the past couple of days, in fact. 1, 2, now 3 days to the upside, up 3.5%. There was this big ugly right candle, though. Apparently, Elon and SpaceX. So this company, GoGo, provides wireless connectivity to the airline industry. So when you're on an airplane, you get internet. It comes from GoGo, or that's one provider anyways. So Elon and SpaceX saying that this type of technology, airborne hardware is what they're calling it, is going to be available in 2023 from SpaceX, guys.
Yes, pretty familiar with that. The battle for, what they're able to do, I mean, Starlink has been fantastic, and that battle is only going to get started here. Personally, anecdotally speaking, I know a couple of people that actually have Starlink and just absolutely swear by it and how fantastic the service might be for what it's worth, but gonna have to start getting out of some of these. And it was not RCL. Apparently, I doubled down on that my own. But maybe you guys were talking about Mullen or something else for the double down talk. But I'm now all out of Apple. Apple broke back to the downside, just getting some more bids out because we're getting pretty close to imbalances. But Apple then broke, failing that breakout, so it was okay. Got a dip. It came back into 150.25, but that was so late in the story in terms of how strong it had been that when you're buying these tops, it's tricky. NVIDIA looks like it's coming all the way back in as well. Just not a ton of follow through. Like, it's not a bad trade. It's just, you know, one of these, we've seen what happens when you break out from 1% and we get that strong follow through. The market ends up 2% on the day or something, and you're just hunting for longs that look strong. That's why you're trying some of these, and I think that had a chance to go, but none of them are really following through, unfortunately. And then Tesla, this will be the one I'm frustrated with because, you know, I had this on the 210 break, and you even heard me say I don't believe in this one, and that's when I went over to Apple for the long, and then added to NVIDIA and was just looking at, even took Caterpillar, but it was Tesla that eventually went from 210 up to 214. So, you know, there was one thing that followed through, and I can't even say I didn't have it. I just didn't hold on to it because I wasn't believing in you, Tesla. I have to rectify that again. Mullen, maybe it'll move tomorrow, but it reclaimed 50. I wasn't waiting around for it to get under VWAP. It was not going anywhere. All you could get was 50 to 51 this afternoon. So maybe it holds this and we get a breakout tomorrow through 55. But I could equally be looking at a 40 bid for some support down there on Mullen. So I'm not going to be holding that one as it is breaking down. Strong day for Mullen, but like everything else, just couldn't follow through in the afternoon.
Yeah, I like that. All right, so let's just go one more time here as we cook up some profits coming through right now in this market. So far, so good. But we did take another piece out. We only have 20% left of our AMD trade. So just understand that, we just took another piece out there at 75. Now it's starting to come in. We do have the imbalances. That's what I have right here. So at 350, these are going to update, right? And when they update, if we see AMD bid, then we're in trouble. So we're not going to let that happen to us and only now have that 20%. I'm just going to fix my stop order right now because, again, just less shares now because I've already covered. So we'll wait. We're going to now get out. This is the best part about this trade. 59. If 59 breaks, we could just get out for a flat trade on the last 20%. But look what we've done on 80%. Nice move back down in right now. Amazon is the one that's cracked lower, man. Amazon, good call for all you guys out there, traders. When I say guys, females, doesn't matter. Female traders are excellent, as most of you know. Nice little move to the downside there as well. So this is actually breaking more right now. And for me, honestly, I don't really share size based on the price of a stock unless it's really upsized. The value of the stock, like Tesla at $1,000 or something, it's going to be riskier using 1,000 shares, right, on that than as opposed to it being $200. But realistically, that's part of the best part. One of the best parts about being here at Day Trade the World is, of course, we could just trade firm capital. So to take 1,000 shares of Amazon really is just a blink of an eye. Same way it would be to take 1,000 shares of Snapchat, even though it's only $8.
Actually, I was talking to some of the trainees about something along those lines, but I'll share that after 350 because I don't want to get in the way of the imbalances coming out there. I just trailed out the last of my NVIDIA break even, so the last 10% they're going to be out of it. But here come the imbalances too. I just still have the two shorts on Snapchat and RCL, so hopefully it comes to the south side. There's the update. PCG, we've seen that before, million to sell. RIO, million to sell. TSM, 880,000 to buy. NEO, 500,000 to buy. But CCL, which I'm short RCL, 500,000 to sell. I don't see any of the big names there. TLT, 460,000 to buy. But I don't see, there's NVIDIA, 370,000 to buy. Cisco's there, but no, Amazon, there's the first of the big tech names, 350,000 to sell. This has to be pretty mixed board. So I'm assuming the imbalances pretty much came out flat, I would say. 167 million to sell. So I would say a bit of a nothing burger. I'm just going to get out of the last of these two positions. Not really gigantic follow-throughs on Snapchat there. It did work at least a little bit to the downside, but nothing like when it flushed at 850 earlier. So I'd say a disappointment there. RCL, not too bad. But what I was getting at when you talked about like Amazon, take 1,000 shares for buying power, there's a new feature that got added to Day Trade the World. Well, it's been there a while, but most people don't use it, where you have the ability to set a share limit on a per stock base, because what can end up happening is, let's say you have a bunch of buying power that you use it on, certain types of stocks. Next thing you know, you're trading Amazon in earnings or something like that. You might have the BP that if you keystroke an error, add a 0 or 2, it'll fill you because it'll send that order out because you have enough buying power. But now you can say, well, I'm trading Amazon today, but I never want to be able to put an extra 0 and have it execute. So you can set individual share limits. In addition to having your buying power control how much you can buy or sell, you can have individual share limits at Day Trade the World, which I think is pretty cool. And I'm not naming any names. I know somebody who put an extra 0 on an Amazon trade on earnings. And let's just say, it worked out because he was the right direction, but you never want to have that. Don't yell the name out, Greg. But you never actually want to have that happen to you. It's a great risk control. That's a value of being at a prop floor because there's external risk controls out there for you, your daily stop limits, risk managers, and features like that.
Yeah, nice one, Greg.
He just blurted it out.
That's really? Okay. No one heard.
No, nobody heard it.
Nor would they.
They wouldn't know who it is anyway.
But okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. But that's a great point there about all of that. I don't have any controls on mine because honestly, it's like sometimes I might want that extra 0, but it is a good point. Even if you said I'm never taking 100,000 shares, right? So that would be a good point. Well, I don't know if my buying power.
The default on all stocks is 100,000 shares.
Right.
So if you ever wanted to have more than 100,000 share position at Day Trade the World,
like a Mullen or something.
Yeah, like you actually have to submit to get more of it. And obviously, if it's a penny stock, sometimes you would do that, but that is the default is 100,000.
Yo, what's up, True Trading Group? Yeah, thanks to Mike Edward, who was here last week, and we do got 50 more memberships flying through for those guys. So thank you so much again to True Trading Group. Join them at 4 o'clock right after this. Find out what they're all about. Go to their website. Again, you know, we're not affiliated with them. They're advertising, and I want to definitely thank them for all their support. And Mike on the show. Ayo for Mike if you're watching there again. True Trading Group. Thanks again for sponsoring the first half hour and the last half hour, I believe, of the show. So you can click on the link right now in the chat. Thank you so much for all of that. True Trading Group. But okay, you guys want these imbalances again. Meanwhile, we are just like, let's spin it one more time, and then we'll let you see these imbalances. Because, yeah, here's the short on AMD. Boom, boom, boom. 3 times. We like it so nice. We hit it thrice. So boom, boom, boom. Nice move to the down. Okay. Here we go. Now we're starting to get to the downside here. Nice acceleration here on AMD. Nice acceleration on Amazon. Looks like AMD, pick your poison right there. I still have this up so you guys can sort of see it as well. But nice downside move here for AMD. We only have 5 minutes now to go, well, 6 minutes to go until the close. But here are some names. You guys said you wanted them up one more time. I could zoom. I mean, they just keep going. There's NVIDIA with a buy, McDonald's with a buy. I mean, they just keep going and going and going all the way. There was Meta quickly. What was Meta? Meta with a sell as well, but not much to say there as they continue to update here every 5-10 seconds. I think you're going to get another major one at 355. So watch out here for all of these. Nice trade for AMD for myself. Probably going to cover, but why do that? Let's just wait to see. We only have 10% left on that name, but just like we talked about why you want to be on the sticky note, why you want to join us every single day at 8:30 and sign up for our watch list. Tell them why, Brendan.
There we go. So much information, guys. Absolutely so much information that you need on a daily basis, including what is to come tonight and tomorrow morning before the open for earnings. Don't worry, it gets better as the week goes on.
Yes,
I'm not worried. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, we're
tomorrow.
not worried about how big the earnings are going to be. We know they're going to be fantastic. Look, there's nothing aftermarket that's all that exciting, but tomorrow morning you do get Coca-Cola, you get GM. Biogen, I think, could be a mover. But there's one, I feel like I would have noticed it. Maybe I just forgot about it, but Halliburton's out there. So Halliburton's going to have made a bunch of money because that's how it works. And it is in the midst of, like, a lot of these stocks are pretty strong, but it is in the midst of a continued breakout, another breakout, and still well off its highs in June. So I'm kind of hoping it is impressive because it looks a lot sexier above 32 on Halliburton than the reverse and even potential 35 break. So this is one I'm adding to the list. And I don't know why we're hitting the data, but why not? There's the
Chinese names, and because every time Brendan comes with some good news, we got to do that. That was made by one of our former employees. Made that up, and I think that was pretty funny stuff. Are we frozen now? Oh, no,
we're still just on me. Even though
we're just still on that. Okay. Oh, this Fahad guy, this guy's killing me over there. You know, he's on Snapchat over there. I see what you're. Yeah, right, Fahad.
Is he really on Snapchat?
He's on Snapchat. Come on,
See,
Fahad.
somebody does use Snapchat around here.
And Fahad, I'm still waiting for your 6 stocks, by the way. I didn't see you send me your 6 key stocks that you're watching here.
Isn't it 7?
I don't know what it is, but for Fahad, we're just internal joke as we go here more and more today.
It'll be an internal joke for a while, that one.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so Fahad, have that ready for tomorrow. I need a full report on those 4 names. See how I keep changing it?
It was 6 to 7 to 4.
He's in my ear. He's so busy on Snapchat that he can't figure out the 5th name. So I'm going to give him 4 names to work on. But thanks for joining. I was going to say that on those lists, there are a lot of industrials, right? You had GE on there. You had 3M. Yes, I think Honeywell might have been on there as well. So I like when that sort of kicks it off. Gives us a good idea of sort of where the sectors are, and then we get the big tech names this week. It's going to be hell of a lot of fun. But yeah, I don't want to put too much pressure on Tony because you can see him there in the back. He has his Polaroid shirt on today, which I love, by the way. But my new favorite is that Coca-Cola shirt. So I got the wife that does all the laundry, and so we do about, I think it's 14 loads a day or something in my house. So I don't want to say I don't want to put pressure on Tony, but I put the request for the Coke shirt on Coke earning day.
It would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, so let's see if that can come through tomorrow. We'll give Tony maybe a yes or no there when he's ready to rock and roll into that.
I have to do my nerd thing for a second. Steve G, he just asked me a question. He goes, big giant head, what show? I don't know what it has to do with imbalances. I mean, I would have got Third Rock if you didn't tell me that. That was an easy one. You got to give me, if you're going to do give a question, you got to give us a chance to prove that I'm going to get the reference there. So, but a good look. Third Rock is an underrated show. Third Rock from the Sun.
Is it underrated?
You don't think so?
I feel like it was around for like 25 years.
It's also probably a heck of a lot older than I remember.
Right,
so
like you were like just the other day the
probably
Jays
dating
won the
myself.
World Series, and it was like,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
Tony for sure was not even born when that.
He was. Wait a minute.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't even
Oh,
close.
no, he wasn't.
Not even close.
You
my
weren't.
friend.
Yeah, you weren't. Were you?
Not even close. So, all right, that is that, man. All right, we did cover finally. Let's hit the alarm because here's
I gotta get
using
out
the
of this
terminology again. We've completely covered now our AMD trade, which was a short, and we just bought it at 56 or 58. Sorry, so covered there at 58. I was just hoping that it would break 50. It got as low as 52. Didn't do the dance. Then we just covered there. Pretty easy for me to do that. As today's been a pretty successful day, man. Meta. Let's see where Meta's closing. Ooh, little. Waterfall. What? Little waterfall. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's pretend like there's more. 13, 14, no, it's 12 or 13 straight downside minutes here.
See what makes me angry?
For Meta.
Like, so then why didn't Snapchat fall to
Yeah, I mean, why didn't AMD go down as much as it should have? But again, Meta just positive today, which is a good win for it, considering where it started on some of that China news and whatnot. And then, of course, they got a nice little bump up in the middle of the day with TikTok there. But we had that long, man. We've already took this one to the cleaners today, 124.50, out 130. So that was a nice little move to the upside. As we have less than a minute, why are everyone saying Fed pivot? Like, the Fed is not pivoting. They haven't pivoted. They're not going to pivot.
No, so basically every single time we're strong at the end of the day. I think it's the same few people that just Fed pivot, that's why we're going up. So if we keep cheering for it, maybe it'll end up happening. It's like a rallying cry when we're ending strong. So the market is up 1%. I'll give you that much.
Fed pivot then, yeah.
Maybe that should be it. Like every time we go long something on a break, we'll just yell Fed pivot. Like that's the thing.
I wonder. There we go.
Kind of like the 320 GE buyer.
What kind of camera angle is that?
That's pretty cool. In 3, 2,
and 1. All right, Tony. Thank you so much.
That was I like that.
That was a good view. Hit that view again. You have that view again?
Yeah. Good luck, Lucas.
Let me see that, Lucas. Good job, Lucas, today. Good job, Lucas. So Lucas asked for Fahad's help, but he was doing the report on those 5 stocks, so he was unable to help. So
4, 5, 6,
4,
7.
5, or 6, but one of them has to be Veru. So get ready for that tomorrow. Thank you for joining us up today, but more importantly, let's go over to Brendan and see how the broader markets finished up.
Nice day, guys, right across the board. Positivity continuing after a nice day on Friday as well to the upside. 1%, kind of a day right across the board here. Brazil, not too great, 3.6 downside. Crude oil ends negative. That was up 2% at one point this morning. So, yeah, volatility across the board continuing for sure.
Man, I'm
Yellow
so glad.
Fed
I'm so
pivot.
glad I just put in the chat, Fed pivot, yeah. So now that I know what that is there, you guys can probably send me some good memes there on Twitter as well.
I like this.
I'm wondering, because I did hear one time Prad, is it because of Prad or is it something that happens online?
You know what? I don't care. I like the rallying cry. I like it.
Yeah, because one time the market was going up, and it was just in the midday, and it literally went up like 5 handles. Like, it was not even a big move. And then Prad's like, did the Fed just pivot? So I was wondering if that's what it was. But
probably ticked up like
all right,
2
go to
ticks.
that. Can you get that camera angle again? I want to see, just so people can see our floor there. Yeah, so there it is. There's the boiler room. Hey, we're over here. But there's 5 or 6 guys there getting ready to rock and roll right behind us. They're out of here for the day. It should be a fun day tomorrow as well. And there they are behind us. We have about 20 or so PCs. So if you are interested, we'll have that tomorrow. I don't know. It was Gregory M, or I don't know if we're using the Brankos one. But stay tuned.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow. We'll tell you how you can submit your resume. I'll double check it with Greg after this.
I think it's either or. Brankles or
Yeah, but the problem is I never know, because it was Gregory M at...
Yeah, it's Gregory.
But I don't know if it was at True North Vantage, or I don't know what it was.
It's
Select Vantage. So,
Gregory M at Select Vantage.
All right, I think you could just do, what is it, Bears versus Bulls? Check the chat, because I think it's pound apply or hashtag apply or something like that, and it will show up.
Apply.
In the chat. All right, well, we're screwing this up anyways. But join us tomorrow, and we'll have all that details for you, or message us at Twitter, so on and so forth, and we'll get you that email. But all right, Brendan, what did you think of the day today?
Very, very good start to the week, but important week. So hopefully it continues.
All right, we have that Fed pivot trademark now. So
Let's
that would
go.
be, you know, now we need an animation
pivot.
for that.
Yeah, we
Fed
had
pivot.
ASAP.
And it could be like, Powell saying Fed pivot or something like that.
We need it ASAP like Bloody Loco. That's what we need.
We need it like ASAP like Rocky.
You ever seen the Bloody
Rocky.
Loco thing?
No.
It's old. It's really old school.
What
you
is
can
that?
you can find it on YouTube. It's like some dude got hassled on the subway by a dude named Bloody Loco, and it's like, let's just say he is hands down one of the bravest people ever. He just chills out while some dude is basically threatening his life. He's just reading his book like he's pure gangster about it.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's old school.
Shut up, Fahad.
What Fahad, man?
Fahad, honestly. Fahad's like, give me your 5 stocks.
Veru,
This guy's
Veru,
too much, man.
Veru, and Veru, because it spits hot fire. That's why.
Exactly. From everybody here at Day Trade the World, thanks to Prad for the midday show, and Luca, man, a good midday show. I know it's tough to go all 3 hours, so I want to give a big shout out to those guys for sure. And then everybody in the background, Justin, Liz, Katrine, some guy named Fahad. I don't know what he's doing, but he's over there. And then a shout out also to Lucas as well. And then Rob, Mark, Randy, all of our IT team, and everybody at Day Trade the World. Thank you again for supporting us, and good luck to everybody with their offices as well. But we got to go, so let's get the heck out of here. The trade of the day was Alibaba. Oh, we didn't talk too much about Alibaba near the end of the day. Those should be hot tomorrow, as well as earnings. So have a fantastic night, and go Patriots, right? Because
you're damn
we
right.
have them in the suicide pool
I
there.
wouldn't normally, but I have to tonight.
Yeah, go Patriots. All right, guys, ciao.
Fed pivot.